We're live. Hi, everybody. Welcome to USLA. We're going to wait a few minutes to see if multiple people are going to tune in. We tried to actually schedule this a little bit, but we are sadly a little behind. That's what happens when y'all work and try to do an organization at the same time. Long nights, long days. What are you doing?
I'm just going to monitor.
So we'll give it a few minutes and let y'all come on in so we can continue on here. And I love when you use your phone, you get 6 million text messages at the same time.
All right, then. Welcome, everybody. Like I said, we're going to give a little bit of time, let people come in before we start talking here. Very nice.
Oh, hi, Michael.
All right. We're getting some viewers here. Nice. Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, we're up to 28 now. Can you guys see it on your side?
Yeah, let us know if you can hear us well, if you can see us well. Hello, GWT.
Hey, Ronald. So we're using a different forum where all of us can actually get together. Most of us usually use Prism, so we're able to get on multiple streams and multiple people are able to be in here. 5x5. Oh, we got the UK in here.
Nice. Hello.
I don't know how long I'm going to keep it for.
Oh, we'll get started.
There's Glory B. Hi, Ray.
T-minus 1 minute. Just allow a little bit of time for some more people to get in here before we get going.
Trina's here.
Nice. Hello, Trina.
Hi, Vision.
Oh, this is going to be awesome.
Hey, Gerald. I can hear and see all 4 screens. Thanks, Jennifer.
Perfect.
We're excited. This is new. We get the bugs worked out of this. It'll be good. Most of you know on my stream that I am not technologically advanced, so this is a big, big jump for me. What's up, Brian?
Hello. Brian.
Hey, Irvin.
I know, we're going to be.
Oh, no. We'll see if we can get Roberto connected back. Hopefully, he'll be here in a minute.
Let's actually tell you your YouTube and Facebook.
That's really cool. How's it look over there?
It's a little behind, but that's all right. It tells me we've got 6 viewers right now on our Facebook. So the rest of them are coming from our YouTube channel. You got both of our YouTube channels on there, right?
Yeah.
Nice. All right, so yeah, I am with. We're about to get started here. I just want to say I've got the Glory B channel on here, and we got Lisa and Mayor YouTube channel on here, as well as our Facebook. We're all going live on these different platforms, as well as I believe Roberto might be on his YouTube feed as well.
We didn't get that set up. We were trying. We had some issues.
Regardless, we are here.
But it'll be uploaded soon.
And with that being said, do we want to go ahead and get started?
Are you guys ready? Roberto, Tanya, Tommy?
Ready over here.
All right.
Ready.
Okay, welcome to the United States Liberty Alliance. This is our first formal live stream with the main people that are organizing right now with it. We have a whole bunch of people with USLA that are collaborating on a regular basis. We wanted to come to you formally and introduce ourselves, give you an overview of our organization, what our intentions are to do. Let us introduce ourselves individually, and who we are as the organization. I'm going to hand you over to Matt right now. He's going to go ahead and fill you on the background and how we came to be. And here we go.
Yep. We'll go right into the rest after that. So, blessed day, everyone out here in live land. My name is Matthew M. Holt. You see me as a couple different pseudonyms, Johnny Galt being one of them. But my name is Matthew M. Holt. I'm the state lead for Texas. First off, we'd like to thank every single one of you for joining us as we give thanks. I want to roll right into giving thanks to the People's Convoy. Some might ponder why we would give thanks to an organization that crumbled apart and dissolved, but the details are neither here nor there. What I'm here to explain is that the People's Convoy, despite the way that it ended, it still did its duty to bring the people together, united for the main cause of restoring our liberties. Weeks prior to TPC dissolving, the state leads from Ohio, Tennessee, and Texas became very close on a professional and personal level, and with me and Lisa initially constructing the framework for the current organization. We shared this to the state leads in Ohio, Tommy and Tanya, the state lead from Tennessee, to receive any constructive feedback, and initially we presented this framework to the national organizers of the People's Convoy. Unfortunately, that fell on deaf ears and was not used. So once TPC had fallen apart, the state leads from Texas, Ohio, Tennessee, and Florida came together with the mindset that we would not let this movement die out and fall apart. This movement is by far way too important to just let die out. And we knew this from the feedback we had received from our supporters through different mediums. It was about 1:30 in the morning, Saturday morning, the Friday after TPC fell apart, in which I personally came up with Liberty Alliance. And speaking with one of my Texas regional leads, we added United States to the front. I immediately brought this to the other state leads, and we agreed that this would be the new name change. This name change and the leaders of the United States Liberty Alliance was created by the state leads mentioned prior, and there is zero affiliation from the TPC organizers Chris Young, Scott Obermiller, Rebecca Gustafson, or Marcus Young, Mike Landis, and Brian Braze. These individuals have zero input into USLA, the name change, the organizational efforts, or the transition from TPC to the United States Liberty Alliance. With that being said, I will now pass over the mic, so to say, to Tanya from Tennessee to speak on the United States Liberty Alliance mission statement.
So going forward, our mission statement for United States Liberty Alliance is, my notes are long. As Lisa said, days are long. Should know it by heart, but I want to read it. The mission statement is to promote and protect U.S. sovereignty, restore liberty, and protect our Constitution by use of education, demonstration, and peaceful assembly. We are working within states. We have a lot of states that we are working with. I guess I'm supposed to do my bio first, huh?
Well, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and move on to introducing each of us individually, and then we'll move forward with that.
Okay.
Tanya, would you like to introduce yourself and your bio individually, and we'll move on to the next person?
Yeah. So I had to write it because I could talk for hours. Most of you that know me know that. So I'll just read what I wrote. My name is Tanya. I was born and raised by both my parents in Tennessee. I have a grown son who has his own story of how COVID took a full scholarship to University of Tennessee at Knoxville away from him. I raised my son on my own with the help of family, friends, my church, and community. I went to college to finish my teaching degree when he was in elementary school. I had always wanted to be a teacher. What I did not know was the infiltration of well-known organizations into the curriculum in the education system at even the college level. I knew something wasn't right, but I continued pursuing my passion to teach. Being a Christian and teaching students social emotional learning was something I couldn't get behind. During COVID, I had an accident injuring my back. My thyroid stopped working. I had a lot of health problems, so I had to take medical leave of absence from teaching in April of 2021. I'm continuing to heal, but at this point, I have resigned from teaching, and I know God has called me to speak up for teachers and students alike. As much as I love teaching and I love the students, this is the path I'm on now. I'm here doing what I am for the kids and for the future generations of our nation and our world. That's what I wrote, and I could talk for hours about it, but we want to move on to the next person. I'm sure everyone who watches this will get to know more about me in the future.
Thank you, Tanya. We appreciate that. Roberto, would you like to go next?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Roberto Leiva. I did not prepare a speech, so I'm just going to talk from the heart. So, born and raised in Miami, Florida. I'm a first generation Cuban American. So, long story short, you see, I got three kids. All three are over 20. So, seeing what since 2001, my whole journey with this whole thing started in 2001 when my father was diagnosed with prostate cancer. So I started reading books, and I saw how I actually thought that the GOV was, had our best interest in their mind. And that's when my eyes were open, that they kept a lot of, for example, natural stuff and all away from the people, because I realized that they actually wanted to keep us sick, right? To push pharma, right? So fast forwarding, so that's how I became, vegan or whatever, 2006. But fast forwarding to 2019, when I saw this whole pan, um, unfold, I realized that there was something going on. And with the 2020 elections, that's when I said, all right, it's time to really get involved. So fast forwarding to the beginning of this year, end of last year, beginning of this year, that I saw what was happening in Canada, how they started standing up, and the whole convoy. It actually, mind you, I had lost total faith in humanity. I was like, you know what, forget it. But once I saw Canada standing up and everything that happened in Ottawa, it really lifted my spirit. And then I saw that we saw what happened in Canada. I started seeing, the People's Convoy organizing. So I met up. Long story short, I met up with the People's Convoy in Hagerstown, and I see how important this is. So this means a lot to me. It means a lot to my kids, my future grandkids, and generations to come, and all of you, because at the same time we're fighting for all of you. I feel for all the nurses, the first responders, the police officers, the teachers that have been demonized because of this whole thing, and we can't say too much, because of keywords. So that's how I'm getting involved. And then I took the stand to do Florida, because at the end of the day, the fight is in Florida, is in the state. So that's how I came about and organized here with the USLA. Hope I didn't go over too much.
Thank you, Roberto. No, you're fine. We're gonna. I was clocking it. So, Tommy, would you like to introduce yourself next, please? Get that Red Bull down.
I ain't writing nothing either. I'm not a teacher. So I'm just going to go off the top of my head. I'm Tommy. A lot of people out here know me, probably most everybody that's watching this. I actually live in Kentucky. I originally got brought on with TPC along with everybody else as the state lead of Ohio. Yeah, I'm just a dad. I got 3 kids. I got my oldest daughter is not your business. She's that old. And then I got 2 other kids that are they're school age. My oldest daughter probably has seen the most effects. That's what kind of brought me around to it. It's I don't know. I've been at this now for I don't even know how long, since January, with the rest of the people in this group. I'm passionate about it. I don't argue with people a whole lot. My whole goal is to inform people, to bring people on, and just make them aware of what's going on. That's all any of us want to do. We just want to help unite the country. We want to help unite all the people. It's we need more than 1 million people, to be on the same page, and that's what we're here to do. That's what I'm here to do. That's mostly really all I do. I'm in meetings with all these people every day, with people from all over the world at this point, every single day. I don't say a whole lot. I just unite people. That's what I'm here for. That's what I want to do. That's the purpose of this. I don't really know what else you want to know about me. I'm 30-something, 38. I'll be 39 soon. I'm not fucking old as the rest of these people in this room, except Matt. He's still young as buck, and maybe Roberto. But anyway, yeah, that's who I am. I'm Tommy. I live in Kentucky. I was born in Ohio. I've been in Kentucky my whole life, unless I move somewhere else for a short period of time, which I have. And I'm just here for the fight. That's it. I'm here to hopefully answer questions, unite people, bring people together. There's probably people watching this that know that I have actually reached out to, that I brought them on board, joined them with other people, and they left. They went out and did their own thing, and they're still doing it. They're still uniting with other people. They're still doing their own thing. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters, right? We just want everybody to be united. That's it. That's what we're here for. That's why I'm here. So I'm not as inclined to give out all of my personal information, as I met a guy one time that did not mind giving out all of his information. I won't do that, nor will I go too much into my personal life. I'm not hard to find if you really wanted to find out who I am or what I've done with my life. But yeah, that's who I am. That's what I'm doing. That's why I'm here. I look forward to hopefully meeting more of you guys and yeah, getting our country back, saving this country, saving the world, really, for our kids, for our future kids. So with that, I'll pass.
Tommy always enjoys being abrupt. Thank you. Thanks, Tommy. I'm going to pass it over to Matt. He's going to be our next one. He's got his speech prepared.
As prepared as I can be. It's still alive. If I actually talked about my bio, we'd be here for like a week probably. But I definitely wanted to shorten it down and try to make it as sweet as possible for you guys, but also let you know where I come from. So my name is Matthew Umholt, and unlike some other people, I will divulge a little bit more of my personal information. My name is Matthew Umholt. I was born to a Rick and Beth out in Austin, Texas in the summer of '85. It's about 100 degrees when I was born. I have a brother 14 years younger than me who is also my best friend, and if anybody was to ever mess with my brother, they would be messing with me. My life has been shaped by the love of my family, the loss of family, both to the kingdom of heaven and by unfortunate happenstance, mostly due to the current situation of the world in which we live in. My life has not always been a cakewalk, and the older I become, the more out of tune I become with those around me because I was growing quickly aware of what was happening around me in the world. I battled with alcohol abuse for 10 years before sobering up. My past includes trips to jail, life or death moments, and days where I would rather die than live another day. I never had control over my life, my happiness, and it was always dependent on another person. And it was not until I reached my 30s where I began to cultivate a love and happiness for myself in my life. My profession and passion is a fitness coach, in which I have 13 years of experience, and this is what changed my life drastically to the point of where I am today. Living a healthy lifestyle, developing the mental and the physical and spiritual has led me to become an extraordinary man and a child of God. I am a man of faith and a child of God, and I will not shy away from this truth because He has saved me. And as I look back on the times where my life could have been done, He was there. Currently, I live out in West Texas somewhere in the dirt. I spend hours researching topics surrounding local, state, national level topics and how it relates to worldwide economy and governance. This includes uncovering human smuggling, including child pedophilia, discovering and unraveling inconsistencies with current events, working with a faith-based organization at the border, which I will speak on more later. I developed this information into bite-sized and digestible pieces for everyone to be able to understand and comprehend easier as to being overwhelmed by the bigger picture. Finally, I am running as the 2024 President of the United States as a nonpartisan candidate, truly for the people and by the people. And with that being said, thank you to all of our supporters and our team members. Love you. Peace.
Hey, so I'll give a little bit more of a description about myself real quick since everybody else did. I just kind of let me in out there. So I'm just a regular person. I started getting into that. I'm literally a regular dude. I grew up. I made a rough path for myself. Like I said, I'm very easy to find. I grew up in Burlington, Kentucky. You can Google it if you want to find out about me. I don't have nothing to hide. I am who I am. I have been to the depths of hell, all the way to the bottom. I assure you, all the way to the bottom. I came back on my journey back. I met these fine people and a lot of other of you guys out there. I'm just a normal dude, man, that wants his kids to have a future. That's it. I grew up in a neighborhood where we came in when the street lights came on. There wasn't a second thing, no nothing. If them street lights came on and you wasn't home, your ass was had. That's when I was raised. I came home from the creek and we had to strip butthole naked right in the front yard and get sprayed off with a water hose. That's where I'm from. That's how I was raised. Like I said, I've been to the depths of hell in every, I think every aspect that you can be in the depths of hell. And that never defined me. It still don't define me. It made me who I am. But that I surprise myself when people tell me about who I used to be. I'm living the American dream at this point. A lot of times people refer to the American dream. People are chasing the American dream. They're coming from different countries chasing the American dream. They are. That's what they're here for. But that's what my ancestors came here for. And I continue to do that. I continue to move forward. I don't settle for a lot of things. I'm just chasing the American dream. I want my kids to be raised and be afforded the same rights and the same freedoms that we had when we were raised. And that's all we're trying to do. Like I said, you typically won't hear me. You won't see me argue in a group. You won't hear me argue with people. I'm open-minded. I think about as open-minded as you can come. I don't care about, and it's not just myself, the rest of the people you're looking at right now. We don't care what's your race, your religion, your sexual orientation, listen, I don't care about any of that. I assure you. One, because it's not my business. And two, I don't have time in my life to worry about anybody else in their personal lives or what they're doing. I have one main objective here, two, I guess, to inform and unite. That's it. We're not fighting a battle. We're not driving around Capitol buildings no more. Although we've been there. Lisa and Matt came all the way across the country. Roberto drove all the way across the country. I drive a truck personally. I drive over the road. I drive coast to coast. And I met up with the People's Convoy in multiple states all around the country. I was in Hagerstown for the first week. I was up there barbecuing and cooking steaks and ribs and burgers, whatever it was all free. If you was hungry, come eat. That wasn't just for the convoy. That's how myself and everybody else that you're looking at right now. I've participated in, several different humanitarian things throughout my life. I've showed up in, I've passed out food. I've dedicated my weekends sometimes to passing out food to people that didn't have it or couldn't eat. Not only because I'd been there, not only because I hadn't eaten. I have been to the depths of the hell to the point that when I finally ate, it actually brought tears to my eyes. That's how far down in the depths of hell I've been. It's always been instilled in me that it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter what car you drive or how you dress. If you're hungry, come eat. I got a sandwich for you. I got a bag of chips for you. I've got something for you. If you're thirsty, holler at me. I give you a bottle of water. I got it. I don't care. I have literally passed out a peanut butter and jelly brown paper bag lunch that had a Capri Sun in it and a pack of crackers with a peanut butter and jelly to a guy that pulled up in a Mercedes Benz. And people questioned me about it. Why would you give that to him? I said, the guy told me he was hungry, and that's all that matters. The people's movement, the way that we started, that's what this movement was about. Anybody that was in Hagerstown didn't want for anything. Nothing. It didn't matter. It did not matter what you needed, what you wanted. It didn't matter. If you said you thought about maybe wanting it, somebody brought it to you. And that is the America we want to live in. That's where we want to be. It's never going to happen if everybody keeps pointing out the flaws of their brothers and sisters or pointing out their gains and how they're better than their brothers and sisters, or my religion's better than yours. We don't win this, guys. If everybody keeps doing that, if everybody keeps picking up, this dude was a drug addict 10 years ago, I can't mess with him, we'll never be united. Never. And these people at the top that we're going after, because like I said, this group, our people, we're not going to capitals. We're not driving around in circles. We're not doing convoys. We're not hollering at our local, whatever the hell they are. I'm non-political. I assure you, I don't like none of them. Don't get me too excited. I'm starting to get loud. I'll start cussing and stuff, and everybody warn me not to. But anyway, that's not what we're doing. We're going after the global elitists. That's our fight. That's who's pulling these strings. That's who cheated my daughter out of a graduation. That's who's cheating all of our kids out of every freedom and right that God has given us and our forefathers have given us. They're taken. We're not doing it no more. Listen, it's not happening no more. We're worldwide. I appreciate all them people that are driving through these cities and honking their horns. I appreciate the people that are showing up at signs and on Saturdays and waving them in front of people that aren't really there. I appreciate you guys, man. You got passion. You got love. You got drive. I love it, man. I love to see it out there. But that's not our fight. That's not where we're at. Because I assure you, you can get rid of every single person in office in the United States of America right now, and you'll wake up and there'll be a new one in his seat. You'll probably find out that the new one was the one pulling the strings anyway. And it'll just keep going. We got to get the head of the snake, and the head of the snake is at the very top. And that's where our fight is. That's where our energy is. That's why you're not seeing us out here promoting, driving in the circles. I don't know if y'all filled your tank up, but it's damn near $6 a gallon, right? When I'm driving my truck, somebody else pays for that. Hot damn, I came off the road, son. This $6 a gallon, man. This shit's crazy. Sorry, I mean cuss. But anyway, that's where our fight is. I just wanted to kind of reintroduce myself a little bit. I'm just a 38-year-old dad. I drive a truck, love my life, love my people, love my family, love my country, love God first and foremost. And yeah, man, that's who I am. That's what I'm here. That's where my battle's at. That's where my fight's at. So I'll mute that and let you guys go back.
Standing ovation.
Yeah.
Okay, Tommy, you went over.
How can we follow that?
That's good, man. Yeah, he's pretty much giving you an overview of where our brains are at. We're looking at the top. You know, we also have to continue to be on the state and national level, but you know, the head of the snake is at the top, and that's where we're headed. So I guess I would be the last one.
Last but not least.
Last but not least. My name is Lisa. Most of you know me that I was affectionately dubbed the mayor in Hagerstown while I was out there. As Brian did say when we were on stage, he didn't know how, but I seemed to know everything that was going on in Hagerstown. And when there was a serious problem that needed to be attended to hold a movement together, I brought it to people's attention and was there. I guess my introduction into TPC, the short answer is, for me, it was God's calling, and it was his time to bring me out to do this work. He found a way to do it. I am not a get in your face. I am not a pick me person. I'm fly under the radar. Leave me be. I'll do my thing. You do your thing. Oh, you need help. I'll help you. I'll give you the shirt off my back. You start arguing with me. I'm not a contentious person at all. Or for the most part, I've learned how to be more assertive. My past has been full of a lot of different things. As Tommy, I'm surprised Tommy and I didn't run into each other in the depths of hell, to be honest. I guess it took the light to bring us together. So, you name it, I've probably been there. You look me up, it'll be an interesting read. I can go into that another day. Born and raised in the desert in Phoenix. I tell people that I raised myself, did the best I could, spent a lot of time figuring it out, spent a lot of time being abused by people in my life, and that led me to pick people that love to abuse me into points where you're not even sure why you're alive the next day. But for some reason, you just put your feet on the floor, one foot in front of the other, and you just keep going. And it wasn't until I got into Hagerstown, I realized that everything I'd been through had pretty much prepared me for this journey. And it brought tears to my eyes of joy. I ended up in the Senate meeting of all places with Brian Brazzi and the other organizers, with some other truckers as well, with Gray Wolf. Sat right next to him. We were in the congressional meeting as well. There's no reason I should have been there. The only reason I could have been there is that God wanted me there, and that's where he put me. That's for me and my beliefs. If you don't believe in that and you believe in coincidences, then it was a huge coincidence. If you believe there's a purpose to something and reasons why, but you don't necessarily believe in something bigger than what's going on, that's okay too. But we know it boils down to this. This is the war between good and evil. Anyone you talk to, you can feel it, whether they believe in anything or they don't. I've talked to atheists that are basically like, man, something's going down. I feel it. You're right. That's what we're here for. We're here to fight for good. All of us are. Who doesn't want to see good? We know there's evil in this world. Interesting note, the more that all of us do our research and delve into things, the more evil we get exposed to. And there are days when all of us wake up and like, man, I just don't know if I can go back into that research and watch that today. I think I just need a chance to get myself back together and find the light and the good in the world, because you feel like you're just drowning in it some days. And we have to lift each other up. That's what this organization is doing. We're lifting each other up. I own a trucking company out here in the oil fields. Y'all know it. When you watch my lives, you see me out in the middle of the desert running around just trying to deliver things. The other day it was so bad out here you couldn't even see 2 feet in front of your face. Why I got into this, I mean, the short answer is God. The long answer that pushed me through it is, you know, how much longer are we going to watch our liberties and our freedoms be snuffed out? How long are we going to watch people that think they know better than all of us decide how to acclimate our children to be compliant through, we all know through what? Some of us have to be careful what we say here because we're still alive. So obviously we haven't said enough to get kicked off yet. You know, I don't have children. I have a nephew. I have a couple nephews, and I have a lot of adopted godchildren and stuff like that. If everyone got taken out, I'd probably have a ranch full of kids. So I got to watch over those kids too. If I ever have kids, I got to watch over those kids. I got to watch over the children of the children. We all feel the same way. This is for the kids. If we don't stop this now, or we don't keep the fight to halt the encroachment, we're all going to be enslaved. That's where it's going. And you're going to watch your children be fine with being enslaved. And I just don't believe that's what any of us want. So that's kind of the long and the short. If you want to know where I've been homeless, I've been comfortable, I've been starving, I have spent years looking out for where I sleep because I've lived in fear by other people, by other situations. There are times where I've feared the GOV. I don't anymore because that's what they want you to do, is fear it. Don't fear it. Understand that they're there and they work for us, is what Brian said. They work for us. We have that right. They are for the people and by the people. Don't fear them. That's what they hope. They have run a 2-3 year campaign of fear. Hopefully y'all are burnt out on it by now, because I know abused women get pretty burnt out on fear after a while till they get to the point they'll walk away. And I know a lot of women in this have been through those depths of hell. And that's why you see these strong women coming out right now, because they know what's going on. And they're trying to collect up all the other people and the women and the children and nurture them and help them understand you're being abused by the government. It's okay to walk away. We can walk away. So that's, I guess, my bio. Some of you know a little more. Some of you now know more. I winged it. Half of us winged it. Half of us were prepared. With that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce USLA, which we shortened it up, but it's the United States Liberty Alliance. We are an alliance. We are working with other people that are also under different names, and that's okay. We all have the same similar mindset and understanding of our freedoms, rights, and liberties. There are conservative, there are liberal, there's straight, there's gay, there's black, there's white, there's Hispanic, there's everything else, Middle Eastern. I'm sure everyone will pick it apart and go, you missed this person and that person, but there's everybody under the sun here. We're working with a lot of different people every day. We're reaching out to a lot of people every day. We want people to understand this isn't just a United States movement. This is a global movement. Everyone deserves their freedom, the way that we've seen our freedoms and liberties be enshrined in our Constitution. Look at Australia, for example, what they've done to those people. Nobody deserves to be forcefully taken away from their homes, forcefully put into a camp, sounds pretty familiar. That would be World War II. So, you know, you have to know that history. That's what we're all standing for. We're not just standing for this country, we're standing for the world. So,
and real quick, as if I may,
yeah.
Speaking about the world, you know, I've heard from many people that I don't care about the rest of the world. I just care about America. Well, to care about America is to care about the world, because we are the shining light. We've always been the shining light. We are the free world. We are the free country. So we are the inspiration for the rest of the world. So to say that for one to say that they don't care about the world and they only care about America, it's kind of like, well, you have to care about the rest of the world, because the rest of the world and us, we're all together in this. So when we become united, we don't become united just on a local level or a state level or a national level. We come united on a global level, and it is happening. Despite whether you see it or not, there are countries all around this world that are standing up to their government, and they are uniting. And whether you actually talk to someone face to face, screen to screen, whatever it may be, our consciousness, our stream of consciousness, our thoughts, our energy, we all feel the same way, which is how we are all coming together. So despite, you know, if you want to just be America, or you don't want to care about the world, we have to care about the world. America changes the world, and it starts now. And real quick, thank you to Canada. Thank you to Canada.
Yeah. Without Canada, we wouldn't be here. And I tell people all the time, of all the countries that had to start this, it had to be Canada. And we're so sorry, Canada. We're here for you. We support you. We're going to do whatever we can to help you through what you're going through. But you are our beacon right now. And I was informed a little bit of Canadian history the other day. And they had said that every time Canada, it might take a lot to get them going, but once Canada's, you know, mobilized and ready to go for a cause and a fight, there's no stopping them. It's like divine providence. They always succeed. So we're here for you. I tell people all the time, of all the countries, it had to be Canada to start it. It couldn't have been us. We have to continue it as well and support Canada and the rest of the world, because we are expected to. This is where we're at. If they snuff us out, we're that last hope of, you know, individualism and freedom and liberties. But we're here, Canada, so everybody support Canada right now too. They need your help at the moment. Infrastructure. Are we all agreed we're going to talk about the infrastructure?
Yeah,
we're on topic here.
That's right.
It's okay.
Did we skip over my whole page of notes? You guys changed them without me.
Somebody had a long evening, so I'm going to go ahead and discuss the infrastructure right now. We got to give Tommy some crap here. So the basic infrastructure of USLA, one of the lessons we learned from TPC, which we're grateful to TPC for good lessons and bad lessons and bringing us together. Without them, we would not be brought together and we would not be under this.
Let me interject on that real quick, Lisa, just real quick.
Go ahead.
Man, everybody wants to judge everybody. Everybody wants to throw the first stone with zero knowledge coming from the source or coming firsthand. I don't understand why people do that. It doesn't make sense in my head. So when I try to make it make sense, I literally just give myself a headache, because I don't understand why people will take the word of another man or woman that they have never met in their life and just assume that they're telling the truth, or just assume that they were really involved in something and know about something that they really don't. Do your own research. There is a lot of people out here. There's a lot of mixed feelings about the people that started, or that, I'm not going to say started, the people that ended with the People's Convoy. Listen, man, I have gotten to know Marcus Summers and Chris Young and Scott Overmiller. I've gotten to know them people. The reason they're still in our groups is because they're good fucking people, right? I will say a cuss word right there. They are. Everything, and I hate to do this to you, Lisa, because you skipped over the whole notes, but everything that people are giving those three guys crap for is not true. Flat out, it's not true, man. You guys are busting these people's balls, and without them, we wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be watching this. We wouldn't have met. We wouldn't be moving forward for this. None of this would be happening. Okay? So while there may be some controversy because of lack of knowledge and lack of understanding, and because there's a lot of instigators out there, at the end of the day, if it wasn't for Marcus and Chris and Scott and Brian and Mike and the other people that were behind the scenes, Rebecca had a huge play. I got brought into this in Telegram by Rebecca in January. Without those people, and you guys can bash them, call you what you want. If you don't know, just shut up and listen, right? Stop judging people. These are good people, man. They're good people out there. They will remain in our groups. I'll remain when Marcus calls me at midnight because he's driving across the country and everybody else is sleeping. I will continue to answer his phone. I'll talk to the man. He's a great dude all the way around. Chris, same way. They're all great people. So keep that in mind, okay? When you guys are judging people, don't forget to judge them by the fact that they sacrificed a lot to bring us together, right? The reason this movement is as big and as strong as it is because of them. Even though all these other groups out there, and I know between the four of us, five of us for sure, we know every single lead organizer for every movement out there, okay? The reason is because all of us started with the People's Convoy that was founded by the people that I just named. So without them, we wouldn't be doing this. Everybody would still be in their basements. Half you guys would still be wearing masks. Half you guys would still be talking about, yeah, come take all my everything that I worked my entire life for because I don't give a shit, right? But because of those people in that organization, we're here, we're moving forward, we'll continue to fight, we'll continue to battle, and we will not stop until we're eliminated or the threat's eliminated. So hats off to the people that started that movement. Lisa, sorry for cutting you off and putting that in there. But I just wanted to get that real straight real quick. The people that know me, know Lisa, they know that we got to know those people very well. And they're getting a bad rap because everybody wants to jump to judgment. And do your research, do your own self-educating. Don't take one of these live streamers' names. I've never watched a live stream. I don't even know none of them. I've met them. I've shook their hand because I've met up with the convoy. I couldn't tell you who they are, what their name are, what their stream is, where they're at, none of that, right? And they had never done anything with organizing. All they did was filmed it. So when they're sitting here trying to tell you that they've seen some shit, they're lying to you. I'll leave that alone and walk away. Lisa, sorry for cutting in, but that's what it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy. Actually, we all work well as a group. We have different strengths and weaknesses that we bring in. Yeah, Tommy needed to say that and clarify it. Some of us are just trying to keep it very simple, I guess, because there is so much crap going on one side or the other. I mean, if y'all watch the live streams and you figured out, everybody seems to know that I'm always in weird places at weird times and all over the place. And I worked very closely with all of those people over time in the convoy the whole time I was there. Matt was there with me as well. But for some reason, I just naturally was indifferent, fixing problems. So I have nothing bad to say about those people. I mean, everyone has shortcomings. The only thing I have to say is you wonder where problems come from is because we're imperfect. And one of the things I did say, and I'm not going to shy away from it, is, you know, some of them are owner operators, which means they run their own truck, they run their own business, and that's a good thing. If you come from the trucking world, owner operators are not the most organized people at times. Owner operators can keep themselves where they need to be, and that's a good thing. But those guys had honestly the balls to stand up and put this together. Whether it was perfect or not, nothing's perfect. I think there's a lot of misunderstandings and misconstruing to a lot of different things, and I think a lot of this is coming from the emotional side, that there was something really amazing that we all joined up with that brought us hope, brought us joy, brought us courage to push forward, and opened our eyes. And it also brought us all together to see hundreds of thousands of people lined up on the overpasses as you drove from across the country. I think when we joined in Oklahoma City, there was total a dozen overpasses that didn't have a single person on it. You're talking about every single overpass from Oklahoma all the way to Washington, D.C. had people on the overpasses coming out of the woods everywhere. Hundreds of thousands of people. People that were crying in tears, that were waving flags with their kids, that were telling you, thank you, thank you, thank you, because they're stuck at home hanging on to what shreds of money they have left, struggling to feed their children. They couldn't just pick up and walk away. It wasn't going to happen. And we all know that. So even when other people say, you know, where were they? Why haven't they gotten together? You know, why aren't people getting together to help with this? Why aren't they going to DC? Because they can't. Because they can't. They are struggling to put food on the table for their children. And that's why the ones that were able to go went for them. I mean, how many of us carried thousands of people's spirits on our shoulders to say, we're here for them. We're here for them. We're here to represent them. You know, Tommy's just blunt. We love that about Tommy. Thank God, because he brings some of us out of our shells. Me, I'm considered more of a diplomatic person. I just calm people down most of the time. But when I get going, then somebody has to hold me back too. So, you know, Roberto, he communicates very well to a lot of people. He can get that message out quick and efficiently and fast. Tanya is a little organizer. She pulls us back sometimes. Whoa. We got to figure this out too. We all work very well. Matt can take you down rabbit holes you didn't even know existed.
That's right. I give you a rope though. I'll pull you back out.
And then find the links to where that all came from, and then the information to back it up so that you might want to crawl in your closet that night and rock yourself to sleep because you know it exists now. So, I mean, those are things that we need to know. If you just do your job every day and go to work and come back and live your little life, I mean, more power to you that you can do that and ignore the rest of the world. But I'm telling you, if you don't open your eyes to that and see what they're doing, which I don't know if anyone else has felt it, but they've been moving 10 times faster lately because I think they know we're on to them.
Hey, can I talk just real quick, interject? Just reading the comments or whatever. I'm not bashing anybody or saying anybody shouldn't be driving around Capitol houses or state buildings or writing their local politicians or none of that. Like, you're right. We definitely need the presence. They need to. Awareness has got to be brought up. People need to be made aware. All I'm saying, when I was saying all that, what happened with TPC don't define us. What happened in the past is in the past. We are moving forward. We're going after the snake's head. If you don't like us, if you don't want to join us, fantastic. Love it. You're an American. You're free to make that choice. Handle your business. I don't care if you bash me and everybody knows me. I don't give a shit what you say about me. I don't even care. We're moving forward. We would love to have all of you on board. If all you can do is show up with a sign outside your state house, fantastic. The fight's not there, but that's getting awareness out there. Fantastic. Handle that. Please continue to handle that. But at the end of the day, we're going after the head of snake. Don't matter what nobody says or does. They're not going to slow us down. They're not going to stop us. This is a worldwide movement. This isn't a state to state thing. We're on phone calls with Australia, Canada, whatever other countries these guys are talking to, almost on a daily. This is worldwide. This is huge. This is gigantic. This is not small state level stuff. That's why I said that. We're going to move forward. We're going to handle our business. We're going to continue to go after the people that are making our lives a living hell around the world. Would love to have you on board. If you don't get on board, please do something somewhere with somebody, by yourself, something, raise awareness. That's it. We're moving forward.
And saying that, we are still organizing our states and educating them, right? Because we have to continue educating on that level in order for people to understand where we're headed. So Tommy is definitely correct. We're going after the head of the state. We're going to lay the axe to it. That's the plan. And I think all of us here in this meeting right now, I know for myself, that's how I will continue to live my life. I've gone down this path, and there's no going back. So that's what we're going to be doing. And we want to be here for you to help educate you on what is happening in the world. You can't watch the news and be told the truth. Every one of the news outlets are given a script, and you have to go find it yourself. And so I'll let Lisa talk about the structure that we have, because the research and development and public relations, all of that thing, all of those teams within our structure within each state is very important. She can talk about all of the states that we're involved with planning with right now too. Thank you, Tommy.
Hey, and Lisa, man, you just gonna have to keep on waiting, man. You skipped the whole list of everything we worked so hard for, man. You just jumped to the end. So anyway,
that's
listen,
not the
real
end.
quick.
You should have woke up earlier. I'm calling you out. 15 minutes before we do this, you're still sleeping. Tried to call you.
You guys let me sleep this late. It wasn't my fault. So listen, real quick, to the point, and we'll go back to Lisa. We'll go back to Lisa. So while everybody thinks that TPC ended abruptly and ended all fucking crazy, it did end crazy, and that wasn't the plan. The way that shit went down, I don't know who said what, where, on what platform, or whatever the hell happened. I was trying to have a nice night out on the town, and my phone started blowing up. Somebody said some bullshit somewhere along the lines, confused everybody. But understand this. For 2 months before that ended, we were already operating as independent states. We were already on our own. We were already doing our own thing, right? We just shared a name with the TPC main convoy. We were already on this. My state lead for Kentucky, our state lead for Kentucky, has no ties to national at all, because the whole state was formed to be independent and to operate as such. So I just wanted to clear that up. We didn't just say, oh shit, this stuff ended, what are we going to do? Let's change the name and make up some bullshit. That's not how that went down. We were planning this for 2 months. We knew that Marcus was supposed to leave that Saturday. We knew this shit was coming to an end. Everybody else, which drives me nuts, because the same people that I heard saying, oh, this is ending, I know it's going to end, I know it's going to end, are the same people that got pissed off when it ended. That don't make no sense to me. You knew it was going to end. When it ended, you're mad. If you didn't prepare for it to end, that's your fault. That's your problem, right? Don't push your problems off on other people, right? So I just want to make that clear. We were planning and running as independent states for 2 months before the convoy ever ended in Hagerstown, right? This has all been in the works. That's how we have, that's why we don't even have to be real active on a whole lot of platforms, because we're in conference calls. We're talking to people around the world, and we're hearing their kids run around in the backyard. Like, we know people's dogs' names in other countries, right? That's how big we got. That's how tight this is. That's how much everybody knows each other, right? So just understand that all of this was, I mean, everything was planned and is going accordingly, except the fact of whatever the hell happened that day, and whoever the hell said whatever the hell they said and fucked everything up and made everything go crazy. I appreciate that. I appreciate you throwing a wrench in the fucking program here. But guess what? We're grown ass people. We just keep on moving. We keep on pushing forward. We got an objective. We're going to reach it. So I just want to make that clear. This just didn't turn out overnight because some shit happened. We've been planning for this. We've been doing this stuff. So go ahead, Lisa, back to.
Are you sure? We lost Roberto. I think his connection's not good. Hopefully he'll come back in here in a few minutes. Yes, Tommy's right. We've all been functioning as states pretty much from day one, to be honest with you, because we got told as states. Hang on, here's Roberto.
So, as she's joining Roberto here, real quick, the head of the snake, we got to take it and throw it over the fence, right, and be done with it. But in regards to that, connecting the tail and the head of the snake, so everybody understands what the snake is and why we are taking the head of the snake and disposing it, because that is the root of the issues that we are experiencing in our country. And everybody knows what's right and wrong, and you feel it deep down inside that there's something wrong, and you can't deny that. No matter what it is, how it's affecting you, whatever it is that's affecting you, you know that something's not right. And that's what we're here to address and to help everybody go forward. And with that being said, I'll be quiet.
Roberto, is there something else you want to say? Oh no, he's going away again. Oh man, okay, hang on. Poor Roberto's not in a good place.
This is live, obviously, and that's great. Unfiltered, raw.
Technology.
Yeah, technology. I guess I'll say my 2 cents and then I'll move on to. Yeah, from the beginning, it was they were organizing the national, and when we all got put into Telegram state, that's where all of us started on Telegram, pretty much into those states. That's the only way that I would have ended up being a state lead, was through the internet and not, hey, do you want to do this? So it was what it was. I know when I went ahead and fell into it, hang on, I'm adding Roberto again. Hopefully he'll be able to stay. It was what it was. Normally I'm a person that would shy away from it. I didn't. So we've all spent sleepless nights getting ready for the convoy, building our states up. That's how Tommy and I got to know each other. Tanya, we all, Matt, we all came from this. So it was a beautiful thing. It started a beautiful thing. the only thing I can really tell everybody is that we can't keep distracting ourselves with who, what, when, where, why. We can only learn from the past. We can't sit here digging into it every day. That's distracting us from our mission. That's distracting us from being able to go after the people that are really making the effects in our lives. And the biggest point is, too, it's time to forgive. It's time to forgive. You don't have to forget, but forgive each other and move forward. We all have our responsibilities to things. We all have our burdens to bear. Whether you snickered at someone one day and went off on them at Hagerstown, or you took the last bag of chips because you wanted it, or other things. I mean, we all have our small sins against each other. So let's just forgive, appreciate what we got out of it, where we are today, the mistakes we can learn from, the good things we can learn from and carry through, and be stronger and better for it. So that's where we are. And that's why we had to pivot and create United States Liberty Alliance. We were under the umbrella of TPC, but we've been pretty much, the states have been on their own since day one. And that's what we've been doing, is building those states up under that umbrella. So it's not a big deal to go from TPC to USLA. We're here. We didn't just throw stuff together. Poor Roberto keeps getting kicked off. But I will move on. Quick, Tommy. Oh, there's Tommy again. Let me get Roberto back in. Sorry, guys. Oh, we don't want to remove from stream. Oh, there you go.
Lisa, so before you go in with the infrastructure, so the states that we communicate with, that we do have communication with, we put it down in the notes, so I'm gonna say it. We got Washington, Wyoming, Texas, Ohio, Georgia, Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee, New York, Indiana, New Hampshire. I don't know that we missed any other states. We may have missed one or two. There you go. See.
South Carolina this morning.
So those are the states that we're talking with. Those are the states that we have people on board. If you know people in other states that aren't involved, please give them a shout out. We just need people so that we can give them information. That's all we want to do. We're not asking for no money. We're not asking for no for no time out of your day for real. We're not asking for none of that. All we're asking people to do, stop bitching, unite, and educate yourself and those that are around you. That's it. We need everybody educated. We need everybody informed. That's it. That's all we want to do, is give you guys information. We want to give the nation information so that when it does come to, and we'll probably get into that, Lisa's going to, when it does come to the time to actually hold these people accountable, we're not trying to do it with 1,000 people. We need the public, we need the world to know what's going on and understand what needs to happen, so that when it does happen, the American people and the other people from around the world are behind it, because that's what it's going to take. Well over 1 million people to make this heard and make it understand. So I want to put that infrastructure. Lisa, set, go.
Okay. All right. On to new business.
Hey, did Tanya do the mission statement? Tanya, did you read the mission statement?
Yes.
You started to. Did you finish it? Okay, I didn't know if you finished it.
I read it. Mm-hmm.
We do have
Read it again, just in case.
Georgia. By the way, someone was asking that. We are working with Georgia as well. So our organizational structure for USLA, we actually developed this earlier on, and we've carried it over. We have branch development teams because even though we are going after the head of the snake, we still have to work from within our federal and national level, our state level. And for each state, every state has a different big issue. For Texas, obviously, it's the border. That is where we want to be able to concentrate a lot of time and effort into, even though it goes into the state level and to a national level. It is our biggest focus right now for Texas. Other states have other focuses. I believe Delaware right now is focused on a timeline to get their emergency declaration for COVID taken out. So they're pushing really hard right now. I know she said June 30th was their timeline for them. Other states are going to have other issues they need to focus more time on. So that's how we developed those branches. Each branch has an infrastructure. We have research and development team for individual branches. There are topic specific statistics, current events, current bills, mandates, declarations. Currently, Matt will talk to you here in a little bit about what our biggest national bill research is and our problem, because it's moving quick. It's moving quick. And so he'll discuss that here in a minute. We have public relations, somebody to help with press releases, media relations pertaining to radio, television, and print media. As you know, they like to ignore us on those. We have to figure out ways to get out the word to those media outlets. That is one way we'll be able to reach out across the people that normally do watch those kind of media outlets. How many people do you know watch the local news? If we can get out to local news, we can get out to them, at least pique their interest with good things. Social media design and implementation, that covers our social media websites, social media forums. We're talking about possibly doing podcasts once a week. Matt called it Freedom Cast, that we can inform people of what direction we're going or anything major events, have in-depth discussions about WEFI, which I call World Economic Forum. We're going to get kicked off now. Effective convoy communications and strategies. When we were under TPC, we called it that. And there is nothing wrong with convoys. There may be a need for a convoy here. It's just not something we're doing every day. It's not something we're doing once a month at the moment. But we need to have those clear communications. If we're going to do a convoy, we've gotten a lot of feedback about, we don't know what you're standing up for exactly. We need to be able to structure that so there's that clear communication of, we are convoying for this specific reason, and you can easily see it on the vehicles. People can easily pick up on it. Visual aesthetics, optics, signage. The other strategies we've looked at as well are, obviously we're trying to unite people. So we want to reach out beyond the parties, the races, the cultures. We want to find those people that are stuck in the middle that feel like, you know what, I believe in certain things that may direct me toward leading to the left or more liberal. Hang on, I'm adding Roberto again. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. When we were out in Hagerstown, there was all kinds of people out there that consider themselves liberal, but they still understood that the fundamental rights and fight for our freedoms has to be done. If we don't have those freedoms and liberties, fundamentally, we can't disagree. It's who's ever in charge. We have to go with what they say, whether it's left, right, Republican, Democrat, independent, or God only knows the next party that comes in power. So we've got to reach out to those people across the board. They want the same thing we do. They want our freedoms and liberties. We can disagree. That's okay. That's what makes this country beautiful. We can have different beliefs and disagree. There's classification lawsuits. Classification lawsuits. That doesn't sound right. I apologize. I was reading off of somebody printing something up, and but lawsuits. If we have issues, we need to be able to come together and use law in our favor, use the courts in our favor. If we don't contest it in the courts, they're just going to think it's fine. There's plenty of things that goes into lawfare, which is where you are in a warfare with the government that utilizes the law against you. If you all think about it, how many bills have been passed that are 2,000 pages long with a ton of different laws and stipulations, regulatory boards, and all kinds of stuff to put out there that have the effect and the manipulation and control in your life? I mean, God, look at the trucking industry. It's a freaking nightmare. All the truckers know this. It's hard to keep up. Most people don't start their own company because there's so many different things that they have to pay attention to and follow. You get your butt kicked on it. So those are some of the communication. Those are some of the strategies we're looking at, just to give you an idea. The other one is security and operations. We know as you build as an organization, we need to have, standard operating procedures, security for internet operations, security for physical operations. If you have a ton of people in one spot, we need to have people that are knowledgeable about that so that we don't have any bad players and false flags. How many times have we seen that happen throughout, for us, the last few months with the convoy? How many times have people seen that happen in the last few years? False flags and bad actors, that's how, when those events occur, that's how they clamp down on freedom, peaceful, loving people who just want to see their country back to what it was with the Constitution. We're going to try and reach out. We have to reach out to people on a local level. We talk about going for the head of the snake on the world level, but you can't do that without helping people to understand on a local level what's going on and being able to help them adjust to it piece by piece by piece. Most people I talk to are like, well, my state doesn't have mandates, for example, so I don't care. I just had a drawn out argument / disagreement about what we were doing in California and why we were there, because California, according to them, didn't want us, and whatever happened in California had nothing to do with the rest of the United States. Well, that's wrong, because these states are test grounds. Whatever they can get away with in a state, it will almost definitely come to the federal level. And if they can't get away with it, they're not going to push it to the federal level. So that's why, California happened. We need to be able to reach out to these people. And so the biggest idea and what we're working on is, we call them entry-level packets, Patriot packets. That's where we have a distribution to go to individuals. Most people can't just walk up to your neighbor or a stranger and go, hey, have you heard about USLA? Have you heard about the bill that they're about to pass that's going to take away our rights? That's a difficult task for most people. So we want to develop an elevator pitch, a small snippet that they can actually memorize and take to their neighbor or the stranger at the gas pump, because what a way to talk about what's going on in our world when you're pumping $6, a gallon into your diesel or your vehicle, and you only put in $8 because that's all you have for that day until you get paid in 3 days. That's a pretty good conversation you can have at the fuel pump to the stranger, because they're feeling the same pain you are. And that's an introduction to how we can unite each other. They don't have to agree on certain things. That's, like I said, that's the beauty of the country, but at least open up the dialogue and get it going. Most people can't do that on a regular basis. To be honest with you, up until 4 months ago, I couldn't sit here just talking to people. I would have passed out on that stage. But I see the need, and I've been blessed. The Lord has worked with me in many ways. Hopefully he hasn't made me too aggressive, but he's made me more assertive, that's for sure. Those packets, we want to put a form letter, a way that people can reach out to their legislators, the numbers of those legislators. If it's a specific bill, the ones that are on the actual committee, to put pressure on those people in committee. If you put the number and you put a script, people are more likely to call on your lunch breaks. That's all we're asking. You don't have to be full-time activists. I don't think any of us can be a full-time activist. I don't know how those other people do it, but I told my mom one day, I was like, man, now I know why people can't be full-time. We work, and you do it at night, like, I don't know how those people do it. That's why they don't work, I guess. I don't know. But you can make phone calls on your lunch breaks. That's what we're trying to do. Make it easy for people to actually take action in their community, in their state, on their national level. Be involved with the decisions the government is trying to make without your approval. You know, we want to be able to put, there's a good suggestion, the emergency acts list, because that is still a main goal. It was with TPC, it is with us. As long as we're under the COVID emergency declaration of the United States, we are not a free people at all. We are under whoever gets to flip the switch and decide that they've had enough, just like they did in Canada with Trudeau. Trudeau had enough with peaceful protesters in Ottawa. He flipped the switch and turned military on them. You know, we have to educate people about that. Most people don't even know we're still even on that. They don't even know what that means. It would have 16 things the president can do while it remains. Lists of proposed bills that concern state and national. And apparently this was added later, and I love it. A copy of the 2030 agenda, because that is the road we're on. If you don't know the 2030 agenda, you better go look it up. It's right there on the United Nations website. They got a sweet little video that tells you in 2030, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Does that sound like something you all want out there? I'm pretty sure they're going to ban this at this point. So those are basically the things we've been working on and trying to put together. We're always looking to put people in place to help out with social media. None of us can do all of this on our own. We're all stretched thin as it is. Even if you want to know how to help and you can dedicate even an hour of your time a week, that's help. That's being part of the solution, not ignoring the problem. So let's see, we have to flip pages now. That's it for my notes right now. I believe we're moving on to Tommy. Matt's got something to say.
Yeah, you know, so when we talk about Agenda 2030, and if you go do your homework and go do research on this, they put a very nice, pretty spin on it. They make it look beautiful, because that's what they want. They want a hook, line, and sink you into this trap. Okay, and we're not trying to paint a negative approach or a black picture on Agenda 2030. We're just stating facts. We're bringing reality to the front, because this humanitarian effort, they're making it seem like it's a humanitarian effort, like this is for everybody. But I'm going to tell you, with the research that I've done, and I don't want to say too much because it can be overwhelming, but the one thing that I want to talk about real quick before I'm going to go and talk about a couple of these bills that have been introduced and passed the House, but there's the lead advisor for the World Economic Forum, Yuval Noah Harari. Now, he stated in a video that I watched from a Davos, which is in Switzerland. This is where they have their meetings every year, these elitists. He said that it is better to be exploited than it is to be irrelevant. Because if you're irrelevant, you're going to fit into what they call a global useless class. Now, I don't know about you, but I neither want to be exploited nor will I be irrelevant. That's what makes this whole thing that we're talking about relevant to what's going on with the COVID-19. This was just a scam. That's why they call it a scamdemic, to garner more control and more power over us. And if we look back to when COVID happened to where we are now, you see how much our rights have been infringed upon, because this emergency declaration makes our Constitution temporarily null and void, meaning they have emergency presidential powers to be able to do things that are not acceptable, especially to our Constitution. So when you look at Bill Gates, he's a bad guy. I'm going to say it. He's bad. I can tell you that I've been on the other side of the fence. I used to think Bill Gates was a pretty cool guy. Man, he created all this for us. Man, that's awesome. No, he's not. Some people are dubbing him a bioterrorist. I'm not. I'm not saying that. People are. Along with other people as well. The World Economic Forum has 861 corporations and organizations that are partnered with them. They are all in cahoots with one another, forming an alliance to try to have this one world economy, one world governance. I can't make this stuff up. It's straight from the horse's mouth, and I don't even like to have it in my mouth because it tastes sour and bitter. It's like battery corrosion in my mouth. I don't want it. I don't like it, and I will not have it. And I will die fighting for our liberties. And that leads me to these current bills that have been introduced and now passed in the House in the 117th Congress. We got the House Bill HR 7910. Now I'm going to show you, I'm looking straight from congress.gov. I'm not getting this from a third-party site. It's always legitimatized, always legitimate. This is a package bill. HR 7910 is to amend Title 18 of the United States Code to provide for an increased age limit on the purchase of certain firearms, prevent gun trafficking, modernize the prohibition of untraceable firearms, encourage the safe storage of firearms, and for other purposes. Now, when you read that summary, you go, oh, well, that's not that bad. Oh, that's what we need. But go and read the text. Read the text that they talk about here. I don't want to go too much into HR 7910 because it is a package bill, like I said, and it's basically a front for HR 2377. HR 2377, House Bill 2377, I just found out just now that it's passed the House. As of yesterday, it was just simply still introduced. Now it's passed the House as well. So now it's on to the Senate. It gives me a bad feeling in my gut. This bill is called the Federal Extreme Risk Protection Order Act of 2021. And I'm going to open up this text here. And I want to read a little bit of it for you guys. Just give me 1 second here. This is an ex parte order. Again, you can read all this from congress.gov. I'll drop the link here when I get done talking. Let's see. All right, so the factors to consider in determining to issue a federal extreme risk protection order. A court shall consider the factors including a recent threat or act of violence by the respondent directed toward another individual, a recent threat or act of violence by the respondent directed toward self, a recent act of cruelty to an animal by the respondent, and evidence of ongoing abuse of a controlled substance or alcohol by the respondent that has led to a threat or act of violence directed to self or another individual, and may consider other factors including the reckless use, display, or brandishing of a firearm by the respondent. Now let me go off real quick and digress real quick. When they say the reckless use, display, or brandishing of a firearm by the respondent, you don't have a say in what they define as the reckless use, display, or brandishing. So they can use any kind of reasoning to say that will fall under the stipulations here. Another factor to consider is a history of violence or attempted violence by the respondent against another individual, and evidence of an explicit or implicit threat made by the person through any medium that demonstrates that the person poses a risk of personal injury to self or another individual. Very vague. This literally defines like most of the population in some way and somehow. It makes us all look out to be like we're a bad guy. So, order of surrender. You will surrender your firearms to the United States Marshal or a designated law enforcement officer. And there's a lot to read here. And I've read most of this stuff. I've read this entire bill, this one right here particularly. They do this stuff on purpose to make it long and put all these fancy words in. They don't think no one ever is going to actually read it or go through it because we've been complicit. We just thought the government had our best interests at heart. And
they even rewrite bills completely different from what they intended to be.
Well, one of the biggest problems is the bills used to be actually written by congressional members. That was the intention of it, for a congressional member to write the bills, and now they've outsourced it to different lobbyings. Like I believe Google had a big hand in the healthcare bill. So you're having these corporations and companies being utilized to write these bills, and then all this legal team to put in so much jargon that it's not easy for someone to read and it's complicated. Then you have the problem where it's never just one issue for one bill. They tie all kinds of stuff into there. There's all these effing games that they freaking play. And people don't understand that. You can tack on amendments to a bill that have nothing to do with the bill to get the bill to be destroyed, or to tack on something that you want in there, because who's not going to vote for Save the Kids bill or whatever it is? So it's dirty politics.
Yeah, and so they have a grant program that they're establishing with this bill. In general, the director of the Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services of the Department of Justice shall establish a program under which, from amounts made available to carry out this section, the director may make grants to eligible entities to assist in carrying out the provisions of the legislation described in subsection C. The use of funds awarded under this subsection may be used by applicant to enhance the capacity of law enforcement agencies and the courts of the state, unit of local government, or Indian tribe by providing personnel, training, technical assistance, data collection, and other resources to carry out enacted legislation described in subsection C. Train judges, court personnel, healthcare, and legal professionals and law enforcement officers to more accurately identify individuals whose access to firearms poses a danger of causing harm to themselves or others by increasing the risk of firearm suicide or interpersonal violence. Develop and implement law enforcement and court protocols, forms, and orders so that the law enforcement agencies and the courts may carry out the provisions of the enacted legislation described in subsection C in a safe, equitable, and effective manner, including through the removal and storage of firearms pursuant to extreme risk protection orders under the enacted legislation, and raise public awareness and understanding of the enacted legislation described in subsection C, including through sub-grants to community-based organizations for the training of community members so that extreme risk protection orders may be issued in appropriate situations to reduce the risk of firearms-related death and injury. Now, let me say here, training, everything's in this bill, training. This is how they're going to train not just the law enforcement, the judges, healthcare professionals, but how they're going to incept our mind, or try to, and groom us to believe that this is what we need. Okay? A recipient of this.
Can we talk about that grant funding for the bills for a moment?
What do you?
you were talking about the grants and the sub-grants and all of that. There's an agenda. We already mentioned that. So there's people behind it that are pushing this agenda and paying for these bills to be passed. I'll leave it at that, and I'll come back to that topic later. Go ahead.
Hey, let me chime in real quick. I just want to be clear, guys. We're not going after our government. That's not who our fight is with. Our fight is with the people controlling our government, the puppet masters. That's our objective. That's who we're going after. We aren't trying to overthrow a government. We ain't trying to fight a government. We ain't trying to go heads on to none of that. We ain't messing with the government at all. That's not our fight. Like I said, there's other groups out there that are driving around state houses and waving signs. They are handling that. I respect that. I love that. That's awesome. Awareness needs to be brought. That fight needs to be had. That's not our fight. We're going to the top. So if you want to go to the top and fight what really needs to be fought, please educate yourself and the people around you and understand that the government is not in our sight at all. We know what they're doing, but they're being forced to do it by regular civilians of the world. It doesn't matter that they're billionaires. They're just regular civilians. They're not untouchable. There's nothing in the Constitution saying you can't hold accountability to a regular civilian. That's what they are. That's where we're going. Wes, I appreciate you keep running your mouth. It's cool, but you keep saying stuff that don't make sense. The government has nothing to do with Bill Gates.
Tommy, we just love Wes. That's all we do. We're not here to just go call. It's okay, Wes. We just love you. We appreciate that you want to go ahead and go off on your own direction, and that's cool. Wes does have things that fall in line with us too, but that's all we do on my YouTube. We just love our trolls. We just love them. We appreciate that they want to bring out certain information. We don't worry about it. We just love them.
But let's clarify one thing that he has to say. We are not taking any money. We are not a nonprofit. We have not been. We do not intend to be. None of us at this time have had any money in our hands for this organization. So let's just make that clear.
And to clarify that, as an organization, we are not taking any funds, as Tanya said. But to clarify, because I know someone's probably going to do some digging and say, well, that guy with the USA hat, he sure in the heck asked for donations. Personally, on the side missions that I do, in regards to going down to the border and helping out down there, yeah, I do ask for donations for gas. That is for me. That is my personal mission. I want to clarify that. That is not for the organization. That is for my efforts to help with the organization that I work with down on the border, or any other side mission that I do. I want to clarify that. I'm not using any funds to go gallivant off and do stuff. It's to help with my damn gas, because I don't have a job right now. The job that I have, I don't get paid to do. Okay? Just to clarify that. And yes, as Tommy said, we are going for the top. So even though I'm reading this bill, it is important and it is imperative that we contact our state reps and tell them to vote no. It is our job as the citizens of this free nation to hold those people accountable. All right? If we don't hold them accountable, then this is going to get passed. We've got 224 yays on this freaking bill here. They are ready to come and snatch up our guns. Our Second Amendment is being infringed upon. Our First Amendment has been infringed upon. Our entire Constitution, I'll go get it and read it out if you want me to. Everybody, that's something else. Everybody should have the United States Constitution in their back pocket. Straight up. It's like $1. Like, everybody can even afford that. The only thing that hasn't gone up in price is the Constitution. Right? With that being said, yes, we are going after the puppet masters at the top. We know that what we're dealing with these bills on a national level are coming from even a higher up, and that our politicians, our current resident of the United States, they are all being fandangled and their strings are being pulled by people that we do not elect, that we have not had a chance to vote on, that don't give two tiddlywinks about how we feel or what we think or our rights as a free people. So our job is to get to the top and take those people out, spread awareness, and educate. Now, if you think that taking away our Second Amendment is all right and you don't want to contact your state reps and tell them to vote no, well, I mean, it's your free will, it's your free choice to do so. But I'll say that that is not where we want to be. We do not want to be without our God-given rights, without our natural human rights of freedom. And that's being infringed upon. And we will continue
And
to address
can I chime in? Can I chime in?
And I will hand it on over to Roberto.
Thank you. Yeah. To add to it, I mean, as Matt talks about this, I mean, ask yourself this question: what is a real problem? I mean, we go back to the border, all these drugs coming in and all that stuff. You know, again, I always say this: my heart goes out to the victims of the mass shootings. But how many children, you know, teenagers die from overdoses from all these drugs being smuggled into the United States through the border? How many, you know, how many children die from, you know, at the end of the day, it's mental health, number one. And number two, what's going to solve that problem is, yes, taking the drugs out of the streets, but also arming the teachers, you know, training them, arming them, if not all of them, some of them, and putting securities and making these schools more secure. Ask yourself, what the heck are we doing sending billions and billions and billions of dollars to another country when we got problems here in this country? When that money can be used to secure all these schools, every single school in the United States of America. So, and also ask yourself, you know, how many of you called the representatives to say no to vote on those bills, and yet these representatives, they still didn't care what you said and still voted however the heck they wanted. They're supposed to represent us, the people. So if that's the case, we all talk about voting them out, voting them out. Why don't we, as citizens, you know, run for these positions, runs for these seats, the House seats, the Senate seats, as mayor, as council persons? If we're talking about let's get them out, let's get them out. You know, if you feel, even if you hate politics, because I believe that at the end of the day, those that hate politics should be the ones in office, not those that want to make a career out of politics because they'll get corrupt. Us that we hate politics, we should run for the seats, for council, for Senate, for governor, for president of the United States, vice president. Let's all, you know, get involved. I'm a person that was never involved in politics until 2019. You know, and let's all get involved. I mean, there's even very small seats. There's you know, Republic. I mean, this is not about Democrat or Republican, but there's also um, Central Committee seats. You know, that's even they only meet once a month. Let's start by there. There's many ways that we could all get involved. But I also wanted to say, going back to the Second Amendment, look at history. All countries where they have stripped their weapons, their firearms, have been followed by genocide. Sorry to say, every single country in the past that they stripped their weapons have been followed by genocide. Keep that in mind as Matt talks about, you know, all these bills and everything. So I just wanted to chime in and say that. Hope you all heard me.
I heard you. I'm on board with arming the teachers, no doubt. You know I am.
Yeah, we're on board. I think we got a few more things. I think uh, that we want to address. Um, I can go with the connecting with other organizations if you guys want me to, and kind of move it forward. We didn't discuss this before, but I think when we get to the end of our kind of list that we've got, have a Q&A so people can ask questions. I know we're all trying to answer them as we can, but if we can address them instead of putting them in text. So right now, our goal as the USLA is to unite people and to educate people. That's what we want to do. We'll reiterate again, we're not accepting donations. We're not looking for any kind of money. We're not trying to do any of that. If you present time and put some time and effort into this movement in one form or the other, that's all we ask. That's all we want. That's all anybody wants. That's all we've heard from day one. Just put it forward. We don't look, man, shit's expensive. I don't want to see some of these people that are on fixed incomes, and it's happened. It's happened throughout this movement. Where's my buddy Wes at? He keeps talking about TPC. We can talk about all the other movements too, if you wanted to. We can talk about all the money that they supposedly ripped off of people and doing all this stuff. Man, listen, that's not our fight. That's not what we're doing. We're uniting people and we're educating people. There's no in the first few months of organizing, when we were organizing for the convoy and helping that out, we all wanted to help. Everybody wanted to jump in. Everybody wanted to do something somewhere, wherever they could fit in. Everybody wanted to help. Well, what we kept running into is we would start pushing forward in a certain direction for a certain movement, or we'd start trying to figure stuff out. And we started running into other organizations that were already doing that. There's other organizations, they're established, well established organizations that are fighting the Board of Education. They're showing up. They're fighting the nursing mandates. They're fighting military mandates. There's other groups and organizations that are already fighting those battles. So there's no sense in us or anybody else wasting their time and resources into trying to reinvent the wheel, if you will. There's already people that their lives are dedicated to fighting those battles. There's already Moms for Liberty is huge. They're already fighting the school boards and the Board of Education and the whole education deal. They're already fighting that. There's whole groups. I'm horrible with names, but there's whole groups that are already fighting the doctor side of it and the nurse side of it. There's already nurses that were in the ER rooms when the pandemic started, and they watched these doctors kill people. They watched it, right? And they're not nurses or doctors or anything else. A lot of them have stepped down because they just can't live with it. They don't want to see it. They don't want to be a part of it no more. Those groups are already spending all of their time concentrating on that battle. There's no sense in us trying to come in and reinvent that wheel. So all we're doing is getting a hold of those groups. We've gotten a hold of many, many, many of those groups. We speak with them on a regular basis. We speak with the founders of these organizations, the leaders of these organizations. All we do is educate each other on what we're doing, what we're trying to do, what they're trying to do. How can we help? That is one of the biggest questions you'll hear us ask. Anybody that comes in, any organizations that step up, reach out to us. One of the first questions we ask, how can we help? What can we do to help you? You need us to send out a call of duty or call of whatever the hell Lisa calls that shit all the time. You want us to send that out so we get people to show up to your school board so that you're not showing up with 10 or 20 people? Guess what? We got the people. We know the people, and we're getting bigger every day. So we'll send them people. We'll let them know. Call to action. That's what it is. Pow, got you, Lisa. So the call to action, right? They'll send it out, and we're just connecting people. That's all we're trying to do. We just want to connect people. We want to know where everybody's fight is. We want to know where everybody's battle is. The reason that we changed direction and said, you know what, we're focused on the top of the top is because all of these organizations that are already established that we've talked to, their fight goes to the top. That's who's passing it down. So why are we wasting time with the governor of the state of Kentucky who nobody gives a shit about anyway? He's not even making those calls. He's not doing any of that. He's being forced to. All he's doing is putting his signature on a piece of paper. That's it, right? That's why we switched our focus to go above and beyond the government, any government, and we went straight to the top, and that's where we're focused at. Because there's already people out there that are fighting at state and local levels. Handle your business, do what you got to do. We're trying to unite everybody. That's our purpose. That's our plan. That's our goal. We want unity. We want education, and hopefully soon. This is a huge worldwide movement with many moving parts. They didn't do this to us in the past decade. They've been doing this for decades and decades and decades, over a century, 100 years plus. They've been doing this to us. If you or anybody else thinks that we're going to go out here, drive circles around some buildings, hoot and holler, honk some horn, file some lawsuits, and we're just going to make this shit go away, you're wrong. You're wrong. They already know. They have a 2030 agenda, and they've had it for several years now. That shows you they're planning way far in advance. So everything that's happening now is just a step in their ultimate goal, right? So that's what we're trying to do. We just want to organize. We just want to unite. We want to inform everybody. We want to bring all these existing organizations together, and continue on. So that's what we're doing. That's the that's how we're connecting. That's where we're moving. Again, we're not asking for money from anybody. We don't need no money. We don't need no money. I mean, I could use some money if you just want to send a dude, you know what I mean, $100 or something just on GP. I would love to have it because shit's expensive. But we are not accepting any kind of money at all for our movement, for our organization, for what we're trying to do. We don't want your money. We want your attention. We want your education. That's it. We don't know everything. You know stuff that we don't know. Enlighten us, please. Let us know. Give us information that we don't know so that we can pass it on to these other organizations around the world that we're working with. That's what we want to do. I do want to drop in real quick. In Canada, there's a guy walking. Most of you guys probably know who he is. His name is James Top. He's walking across the country of Canada. He is scheduled to arrive in Ottawa on the 30th of June. Their Independence Day is July 1st. Please look that up. There's links in our groups. I have a feeling Tanya's going to drop a link in this chat. But check it out, man. They're not done up there. They're not laying down up there. They're still doing their thing. Every country in this world right now is still doing their thing. Just because the media is shutting it down and not letting it out there, that's why we had to take a different approach and go to different platforms and kind of expand our horizon, because they're shutting us down. But check out James Top. I believe he's an ex-RCMP officer. He resigned due to all of this. You guys possibly may have seen the speech that he gave when he stepped down. Check him out, man. James Top. I just want to give that guy recognition, because he's doing his part. And there's a lot of people up north that are behind him, and we're just not hearing about it because the news isn't telling us. But again, that's why we've reached out and made these lines of communications with other organizers in other countries, so that we know what they're doing, and we can keep it going.
Share that, please. Let everyone know in the United States what this man is doing. It's amazing.
Yeah. Send it out. Spread it out. Spread it. Put this information. Listen, when we put information out there, do due diligence. Check it out. Check it, look into it, see what it's about, see if it's full of shit, whatever. Do your own research. But when you're confirmed and you're satisfied in your head that the information that you checked into is legit, spread it. Send it to everybody you know. Send it out there. Make people aware of it. Let people know what is going on. Inform your people on what the hell is going on. And together, in the end, united, we can take our world back. We can take our country back. There's no doubt in my mind. We just have to be united. You don't have to like me because I'm a redneck from Kentucky. I don't care if you don't like me because the front end of my car is smashed. I don't. We don't have to like each other. You don't have to like me. I don't have to like you. None of that has to happen, right? All we have to do is unite, inform each other, right? I'm not coming to your house to kick it. I'm not coming to hang out. If you offer me some food, it's kind of to my heart, so I will show up to eat some food if you want to cook some food. I will do that. But other than that, like, we don't have to hang out. You don't have to be my friend if you don't want to. All I want you to do is stand with me. You're my brother you're my brothers and sisters of this world under God. Just stand with us, man. Just stand next to your brother. You don't have to like him. If he smells a little funny, just switch spots with somebody else. You know what I mean? Just move on down the line. Just unite, man. That's all we want. Unite and educate yourself and educate those people around you. I think next, Lisa went over infrastructure. Did anybody address meetings?
I'm about to drop those links in there. Since it's a private group, you'll have to join, I think, to see it. But it's on our page. It's Canada Marches, James Top.
All right. So, Roberto or Tanya, do you want to just kind of brush up with the meetings we have throughout the week? We have a international meeting on Wednesday. You guys, again, they're pay more attention to that.
I'll let Roberto talk more about that, since he does most of the information on there. I've studied it, but since he runs those meetings, I'll let him talk about it.
Yeah, hopefully I don't have reception problems, and I apologize with the reception issue. I mean, we're kind of like a little behind schedule, so we can't stop the truck. But yeah, before I get into the meetings, I just wanted to touch on a couple of things that I believe are important. One of them being
Tommy,
do you hear me okay?
no, you're echoing.
Oh, Tommy, mute.
Oh shit. So I was just looking in it. Hey, somebody said Reba, I think, said something about holding hands, just doing a line across the United States where everybody holds hands. How sweet would that fucking be if we could wrap the entire United States
That's
with
a good
people
idea.
holding hands? That's a good idea.
Wow.
I'll mute now. Wow. My bad, Roberto. Sorry about that.
Nah, no problem, no problem. I just wanted to add, and since since this is the first, the first live that we're doing, because mainstream media will put the narrative that this is a white supremacist, racist, and all that crap that they talk about. I could tell you from the first moment I was over there in Hagerstown. Obviously, I'm not white. I'm a Latino. I saw all walks of life over there. I saw all walks of life over there, and we were welcomed with open arms. So all that crap about uh, white supremacy and all that stuff, that's not the case. Everybody was fed. I saw, met all walks of life there, all religions. I'll openly say I'm borderline atheist. I would say I'm an agnostic, and I'm still welcomed with open arms. And Lisa, I remember when we were in the back 40 that you gave a speech up there that Brian brought you up. I mean, that speech was amazing, where you just went on and talked about that. Everybody's welcome with open arms. All types of religions. Doesn't matter if you're atheist. Doesn't matter if you're Christian. Doesn't matter if you're Muslim. Um, they that's what it's all about. It's about uniting, and it's about, doesn't matter. This is the only way we're gonna win here. And like Tommy says, it's not about, overthrowing the government. We're all about restoring the Constitution, restoring freedom, and our inalienable rights. That's what it's all about. It's not about overthrowing anything. So well said, Tommy. I'm gonna go down my notes real quick, and then we'll talk about the meetings. So yeah, everybody has a role. I already mentioned I've never been involved in politics, and it's not about Republican, Democrat, left or right, conservative, liberal, or anything like that. Because I've met Democrats and I've met liberals that they're all about freedom. And again, it's not about Trump or Biden. You know, this time, I met a Democrat the other day that he said, I voted, I had to vote for Trump 2016 and 2020, but he loves his country. He's a Democrat, registered Democrat, but he loves his country. So he felt that Hillary shouldn't have been there, and he felt that Biden shouldn't have been there. So that's what it's. So everybody is welcome. Everybody is welcomed here. So, and at the end of the day, you know, we're doing it not so much for ourselves, yes, for ourselves, but we're doing it for others. Like me, I joined when truck drivers were earning a pretty good money. I was earning pretty good money, but the nurses, the doctors, the first responders, the pilots, the teachers, the police officers, the firefighters, the military personnel were all losing their jobs. So I'm like, okay, I'm earning money, but I put myself in their shoes. They're standing up for their rights, and they're losing their jobs. Up there in Canada, the truckers got together, yes, because they were being forced to get the what to cross over, in and out from the United States. But still, I decided to not work for one whole month, or in the last 2 months, we only worked like 2 weeks to stand with them as well. So we could say, oh yeah, but they're already, like where I'm at, I'm good because they're lifting all the mandates. But think about everybody else. Think about those that in California, in New York, where all the mandates are still strong. So the solution is to get educated and get involved, and I believe that we can win this. Yeah, we can cut the head of the snake, but also if we do it from the inside out, starting from the local level and work our way up, you know we can resolve. Everybody has their place. We can go on a national level because we're truck drivers. We can go to DC. We can go to the Canada border and this and that. But we need to get involved on the local level. And if by now we have not resolved the issue, is that we're not involved enough on a local level. Because I always say that at the end of the day, Congress is made up of 535 cabinet members, 100 senators, two senators from each state, and a total of 435 House representatives, each state having different numbers of representatives. Like for example, California has 53, so they're huge. Texas is the second in place, has 36. Florida and New York are tied in third place with 27, etc. So there's bills, for example, HR, and again, we don't want to fire hose you guys and overwhelm you guys. There's that HR 46, which is the committee or the commission that Biden put together, for the Emergencies Act. Paul Gosar from Arizona, he filed a petition number 12, to do away with it and discharge that committee. And we need 218 votes, I think it is. It's half of the 435. Yeah, we need 218 votes. So far, we've only had 89 votes. So those are things that we all need to get involved with, call our representatives, etc. So let's see. So another thing we can do. I'm calling on all the truck drivers. You know, we don't. Everybody talks about, oh yeah, let's do a whole nationwide, um, what you call it when you stop, huh? Shutdown. Yeah, whole nationwide shutdown. Okay, we could do a shutdown for 1 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, everybody's gonna start going back to work. Why don't we boycott, specific places such as DC? Because us truck drivers go into DC and they throw eggs at us and they say, "Oh, we don't want you here. We don't want you here." Oh, you don't want us here? Okay, we won't go in there. Why don't we all get together and boycott DC or boycott Oakland, California, or boycott all of California? Let's all stop delivering there. We keep earning our money because we're delivering it to all these places that are pro freedom, but we're boycotting that, and then we send the message that way. So I'm calling out all our truck drivers to boycott all these places. So let's go to the meetings. So obviously we have our lives. For example, I have my live on YouTube and Rumble. If you look for B75 Trucking, make sure you subscribe and check out all the videos that I have there. They're pretty informative. Okay, Lisa has her channel. I think it's Lisa the Mayor, and but try to go to Rumble because we have to get out of all these censorship platforms, such as YT and FB and Zoom and all that stuff. So make sure you subscribe to B75 Trucking. Make sure you subscribe to Lisa the Mayor. I don't know if Tanya and Tommy have any YouTubes or anything like that, but they can relay that information. So that's the way you're gonna keep in track of what we're doing. And obviously, look for the USLA groups on Facebook, on Telegram, on Signal. I think Lisa can tell you a little more, about all the channels where we're at. So that's how you're going to keep in touch of what we're doing. And again, this is all about education. So every Wednesday, we have an international call, okay, on an app called Jitsi, JITSI. If you're on mobile, you could download Jitsi Meet, like meet, like me and you meet, right? JITSI Meet. That's the name of the app on mobile. And you can also go on. Go ahead, Tanya.
Meet.jitsi, which it's MEET.JIT.SI. You're muted. Okay.
Right, that's it. That's it. Right, that's if on a mobile, the app is called Jitsi Meet. Download that app. You don't have to put your email, your name, or anything like that. And the name of the room on Wednesdays at noon Eastern Daylight Time or Eastern Standard Time, for the winter. Okay, it's gonna be 12 noon all over the world. We just started those calls. There's usually right now 15, 20 people on the call, maybe 25. But we only started 2 weeks ago. So there we talk about we educate on Constitution. We educate on white flag of truce. If you guys don't know about the white flag of truce, you guys can Google it. Go directly to the DOD, the Department of Defense website. You'll find the white flag of truce. You can download the manual, and if you want to take notes, it's 12.4 and 12.5, sections 12.4, 12.5. It talks about the white flag of truce. I won't get into it, but we educate people about that, the Constitution. I mean, again, I don't want to throw so much information at you. We got Title 18, sections 241 and 242, which basically protects you from anybody. That means police officer, military, government official, doesn't matter who. It protects you from being threatened, being intimidated, being kidnapped, etc. That's one thing that every single citizen, at least in the United States, should know and should either have it by heart, have it written down somewhere in case you get threatened or attacked or intimidated. You tell them you're violating my Title 18, sections 241 and 242. Okay, when you say that, that protects you. Okay, so it's things like that that we educate, everybody about. So that's our international call. So if you're on a laptop or a PC, then the link is like Tanya said, MEET meet dot JIT dot SI / the name of the room, which on Wednesdays it's the call altogether, THECALL. Mondays we get together on a state on a state level, you could say, and the name of the rooms on Mondays at 12 o'clock your time, whatever time you're at, whether it's Eastern, like Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, etc., whether it's Central Time, like Texas, even though Texas has Central and Mountain. Kentucky also has Central and Eastern and Central. So whatever your local time is, wherever you're at, 12 o'clock, it's going to be your state convoy. That's going to be the name of your room. For example, in Florida, we're from Florida, Florida Convoy. If you're from Texas, Texas Convoy, all together. If you're from North Dakota, North Dakota Convoy, all together. If nobody has started your room in your state, you can start it yourself. So other than that, we're gonna try to do lives. We're gonna set dates. I don't know if we've um, agreed on a date and time. If we're gonna do it every week or every 2 weeks, that is something that we can either discuss now or discuss later on and then post it later on. But it's a matter of staying on top, staying connected, staying informed. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon, folks. Again, like Tommy said, this is something that has been formulated for the last decades, if not last century, maybe even more. They've little by little done it, so we can't expect to fix everything in overnight, nor in a week, nor a month, nor a year. It might take a couple of years, folks. We need to have patience. However, the more we get involved, the faster it will be. Again, it won't be an overnight thing. The faster it will be. So it will be. So this is going to be an ongoing thing. We're in it for the long term. We're working on structuring our USLA so that it can be for the long term. So it's not a fly by night. We've learned our lessons from the previous groups, like the People's Convoy, like the American Freedom Convoy, like the Ottawa Convoy. So it's about learning as we go, learning the previous mistakes, and moving forward. So that's what we need to focus on. Focus on the now. There's so many, we're getting attacked and we're getting fire hosed from so many different angles. It's almost like if they press the pedal to the metal, hammer down like the truckers say, and they're throwing all these things at us to overwhelm us. So it's a matter of getting involved, folks. Stay connected, stay informed. And with that, whoever wants to take the lead right now, I don't know if I missed anything. You guys can take the lead. Thank you all for listening to me. And whoever wants to take the floor right now, I yield the floor.
So I'm just going to review everything that we've talked about. Real quick, I think we've covered a lot.
By the way, sorry to interject. Sorry to interject. Thank you for the trolls. The trolls keep sending those messages because it pushes the algorithm to so that this group and this these lives go to more people. Thank you, trolls. We love you.
We love you. Hey, we love our haters, man. Hey, listen, if I didn't have haters, I wouldn't know if I was doing it right. You know what I mean? So, like, I appreciate you, Wes. I love you, man. Thanks for keeping me going. Thanks for keeping me strong. All my other haters out there, I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all are great. Love you, y'all.
Hong Kong.
Haters. Let me give y'all an acronym for haters. Having anger towards everyone reaching success. Salud.
Y'all, we just love Wes. Wes is an interesting character. So Wes at times can be that way, and at times Wes will say things like, you're like, well, okay, which Wes is not really on his side. Wes is kind of floats in between, and I don't even try to figure Wes, but I love Wes. Wes just makes it so interesting, and at times he's very complimentary, and at times he's questionable, but I don't believe he's entirely a troll. We just love our trolls. We love Wes, and we love the rest of any of the other trolls. That's what it is on my channel. I don't kick anybody off. I have people that get keys that get stuck on their keyboard from soda or something. We learn letters for the day like H and 5 and the color blue. So we just love them.
Okay. Yeah, thanks to
Wes, no offense. Are you bipolar?
Okay, listen.
I'm kidding.
I know you are. Honk that horn again. So going back, you ready? So you see that the people that are on this live video right now, there's 5 of us, but there's so many more names and faces behind this mission and this movement that have been working with us day after day after day. And we thank all of you that are working with us already. Any individual or organization that wants to reach out to us, our email is uslaadmin@protonmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, obviously, Clout Hub, Telegram, and we're on Getter and Gab as well. So you can find us there and contact us. Like we said, all we are doing is uniting groups, organizations, individuals, those of you that are already out there fighting for freedom. We want to support your cause in whatever way we can. For example, there's an event this weekend from Nurse Freedom Network. Kimberly Overton is the founder. It's in Murfreesboro. It's sold out, which is amazing. I'm very happy for her that happened. But there's also a rally on Sunday that everyone is invited to. We want to, I don't know if I should use the word promote, but we want to let the people know about the event you're having, what you're doing, so you can be supported in your fight. And we can all unite together. Lisa went over the structure. Guys, it doesn't matter if you know how to create a website or you just know how to share a post on a social media platform. We need your help. It doesn't matter if you feel like you are good at making these phone calls to representatives or not. We can get you something to say and the phone number, and you can make that call. If you don't want to do those things, there's packets that we're getting together that you can help with putting those packets together in your community and getting them out to people who want to go hand them out and get the information out for us. So there's a lot of ways that we need your help. We are constantly researching 24 hours a day. And I know that there are so many more of you out there that are doing the same thing. So you bring your research, join it with our research. We have a book to present to discuss bringing these people to justice that have committed crimes against humanity. And before I get us kicked off, I'm going to stop it there.
All right. Yeah, definitely. I was going to touch on something here, and I'm just having a brain squeeze right now. Great. Awesome. What the heck was I going to say? Well, let me talk about the border real quick. maybe it'll come back to me what I was going to talk about. So I just want to clarify some things, and let me digress real quick before I go into the border. Sometimes I come off as a little bit too much. Sometimes it's hard for me to subdue my passion and my fervor that I have. I apologize for that. I will not apologize for my passion, but sometimes I go at it a little bit too hard. In regards to the border, I have been working with a faith-based organization called Patriots for America. They are a Christian militia. I plan to go back down there in the end of June, from the 22nd to the 30th. What we do at the border and how you can help at the border as well. This is the only thing that residents and civilians can do that are on the south border as Americans. If you go down there, provide an overwatch, provide safe entry to the illegal asylum seekers, the illegal aliens. We do not detain. We do not apprehend. We do not return fire across the Rio Grande. We do not fire upon anybody. We work alongside the National Guard, the Border Patrol, and local law enforcement. Patriots for America has a fantastic relationship with these organizations. So the quality of the individuals that we have down there are the utmost quality. We work down there on they work down there on rotations every single month. They've been doing this for about 9 months now, for 7 to 10 days out of the month. They take time out of their job for making money. They put their life on their line. They may not even come back home to their family because there are possibilities. When we go down there to help out on the border, what we do is make sure that these people can come across the Rio Grande safely, that they don't drown, that women and children don't drown. Make sure we bring them in, provide them water, medical supplies, snacks, until National Guard, Border Patrol, and or local law enforcement take over. We do not command. We do not direct. We ask open-ended questions. When they come across, we ask them, will you follow us? Can you come this way? Half of them actually speak English. That's half the battle. It's just to make sure, because this is all we can do. We cannot just say, turn around in 2 o'clock in the morning as they just came across the Rio Grande. We have to make sure they come over here safely, because that's really all that we can do. The other thing that we do is we deter the evildoers. We deter the drug smugglers who are trying their hardest to blend in with these asylum seekers. Because I have a video that's out there, and you could probably go and find it if you have not seen it already. The drug smugglers are in a small little bandit group of 3 to 5 individuals usually, and they wait for these asylum seekers to start crossing the river. And then they blend in with these asylum seekers to peddle their drugs or to smuggle humans across the border, across the Rio Grande. By simply providing a presence at the border, we deter them from coming across, which deters and stops the drugs from coming in, which is very, very critical. Yes, we have a problem with illegal entry. That is something we have to work on as a country to be able to reform those immigration laws. That's something else. Okay, but we do not want these drugs to come into this country because it is killing our children. It is killing our people, right? National Guard cannot go into the thick in the Rio Grande. They are ordered to not go to the banks. They have to be 50 yards at least from the bank. They cannot go down there. The Border Patrol cannot go down into the thick to get these people, which is why for so long, and still to this point, illegal asylum, illegal aliens are coming across, because they're far and few between, the law enforcement, and you can't stop them. So the drug smugglers can come over and they just get in. By providing that presence, though, simply providing that presence will deter. As I said, we do not apprehend, we do not detain, we do not return fire. If someone was to fire across the border from Mexico, we take cover. We do not return fire. The only time that we have self-defense and that we use our weapon is if they are on our soil and they come at us with a knife or raise the muzzle of their gun. Then it is our duty to defend ourselves and defend our country. How often does that happen? It does not happen very often, but there is that possibility, and we have to have that's awareness. They are not showing this on the mainstream media. That's why it's up to you and I, unfortunately, the everyday person, to go down there and take video, see what's going on, and then raise awareness. So if you're in the southern border area and you're curious and want to know, I mean, I went down there. I really didn't think that I was actually going to see any activity. And the very first night, I experienced 2 cousins that were smuggled across the border by coyotes. The drugs were not smuggled, but these 2 cousins were. The girl was 19 years old, and bear with me. This is going to get a little hard and a little bit of graphic. She's 19 years old. He is 20. They came from Colombia. She was raped by the Colombian government and the Mexican government. This is not made up. When they're telling their story to us, you can feel that it's true. They had their money taken from them. He was beat with a stick and kicked. He showed us his bruises. They gave him some kind of burner phone. I don't know what for. She is traumatized for life. She's 19. She's never going to want to have kids. She's going to be abused in some sort of way, probably all her life, if not by someone that's going to be traumatized by her thoughts and her experiences as a 19-year-old girl. That was the first night. I didn't think that this was going to happen. It doesn't matter what day of the week that you go down there. It doesn't matter what time of day you go down there. You will experience this. You will see the problem that we have at the border. You will see the pathetic wall that we have down there that does not do anything. You will see the sparseness of law enforcement. You will see the trouble in their eyes. You will hear in their voice that this is the problem. And it's not just a problem with our country, it's a problem with multiple countries. And again, we go to the head of the snake. Because at the very top, these people that have nothing else better to do with their money than to create chaos in countries that it's not necessary. We could be building up communities and building up countries. And instead, they break them down. And then these people come in caravans and they come across the border because they're told that this is the land of the free. And they are being taken advantage of. The Mexican government just gave visas to tens of thousands of people and told to go north. They're getting 500 buses a day going to the north border from the south border of Mexico. These people are abused, beaten, raped, and left out to dry with no care whatsoever by the people that should be caring about us. So that's why it's up to you and I to raise awareness and to go down there and help out. There's not really much of a solution in regards to the illegal entry. But we have to try to come together with our minds and see how we can use this unforeseen circumstance to our advantage. We have to provide love and kindness for these people who
are being exploited.
They're being exploited. They are.
For a bigger purpose. They don't care about those people. They're being exploited. People that want the borders closed and the laws followed, it's not because we're bad people. It's because those people are being exploited and abused and traumatized, and those children traumatized. This is to save them. There's other ways to do this to help them make their lives better. It is not to send them through a gauntlet of God knows what could happen to them. They're being exploited, and that is the belief. And that is the knowledge of it. They're being exploited. It's not because anyone's racist or doesn't want anyone coming to this country. Yeah, Roberto.
I forgot to mention, we talk about cutting the head of the snake. If we want to expedite cutting the head of the snake right off the top so that everything can stop, the border, everything, guys, please look at the grand jury, um, www.grand-jury.net, because everybody up the head of the snake is guilty. And if enough of us stand up and push this grand jury, mind you, just look into it. That's again, I'm dropping that, www.grand-jury.net, because if we push that, we can impeach, cut the head of the snake, and stand up as people, because at the end of the day, this is our country. We can hold our own trial, our own jury, hold everybody accountable, because this is not gonna last till 2024, folks. 2022 is good. Hopefully, things are looking good for this year, the end of this year, beginning of next year. You never know with these election things what's gonna go on, but you know, uh, Matt, you can count on me. Let's set up a day. I'll make sure I head down there and meet up with this group. In the meantime, but we need to get on that grand jury, spread it out, watch it. It's extensive, but it's very well worth it. Everybody, everybody binge watches. What's that karate thing from the Karate Kid? Everybody binge watches this, binge watches that, and spends hundreds of hours binge watching. Okay, I think that you can set aside 25 hours, 30 hours, and binge watch the grand jury. I think that that is the key right now. That it's ready, the evidence is there. It's up to us, we the people, you guys, the people, we the people, everybody, we all, to push that grand jury and start cutting the heads of the snakes. And again, I'm not pushing violence. We're going to do it lawfully, 100% lawfully, and 100% peacefully. And I believe if we push that and we start protecting our borders while that's happening, okay, I think that we could cut the head of the snake, like Tommy's talking about. I just forgot to mention about the grand jury. Again, I guess I can drop it in the chat, or I don't know, Tanya, if you already did. I'll go ahead and drop it in the chat. Thank you.
It's in there.
Sorry, Tanya. I want to follow up with Roberto. But we do not promote, we do not encourage violence. No, that is not the solution. With that being said, we will defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If it comes knocking on our front door, we will stand up and we will not shy away from a fight in self-defense. But we will not promote or encourage violence as a solution. First off, we have to be lawful, abiding, not just by the laws of the land, but the law of my law that I go by, my commandments that I go by. That's what we have to go by, lawfully and legally. But we will defend our land if it comes knocking at our door. But we are trying everything we can do right now to stop that from happening, because nobody wants or needs or deserves bloodshed in this land. It's got to stop. All the manipulation and deceitfulness and dishonesty, that does not fall in line with being a loving, compassionate, and understanding individual. That's on the other side. That's why we say that this is a fight between good versus evil. The evil wants to manipulate. They want to be dishonest. They want to be deceitful. And they want to put that pretty image in front to distract you. We are taking that veil off and showing you what is really going on. The real hard truth that sometimes it's hard to swallow. It's like you haven't drank water in 3 days and you're trying to swallow some food on that third day and you can't because you're choking and you need water. That's what this is like. Okay? So just bear with us. Patience is an expression of understanding. This will not happen overnight. This may take my kids that haven't even been born yet to actually continue the fight. It's a very well possibility. That being said, Tanya?
Responding to what you just said about our kids, our ancestors, grandparents, parents, grandparents, great-grandparents fought for our freedom. And you guys touched on it a little bit in your personal bios that you gave or whatever. But I was so busy raising my son and trying to finish school, to take care of him and have a career and everything. I was caught sleeping. I knew something was wrong, but I couldn't figure out what it was. So just to add to what you're saying, our generation, I think a lot had been caught sleeping. We were living off the freedom that our parents and grandparents and great-grandparents and whoever else, all the generations fought for. And so we're at a place where we're having to fight for our freedom and fight for our children's freedom. And hopefully we are making a plan, something that they can continue on with, to continue having their liberty for their children and the generations to come. Matt, thank you for going to the border and sharing your experience. I get choked up. I really can't even talk about it right now because of my own personal experience. But I know it's hard to see those kinds of things, and we all know that they're going on. So thank you for giving us some information on how we can help in that specific situation. The grand jury, it does take time to watch, and it takes time to go back and listen. But the gist is there. There are people that have the evidence waiting to hold these people accountable. And like it's been said in this meeting, it's not our government. They're paid for. Just like the bill that Matt was talking about, it's paid for by grants from specific individuals that we could call out by name right now, but you can go do your own research and you'll find exactly who is paying for all of it. So that being said, this won't be our last live. It was our first. We wanted you to know who we are. We want to be transparent. You can ask us any questions you want to ask. Get in touch with any of us that are on this live, and if we don't have the answer to the question, we'll find it. And that's all I have to say for today.
So if everybody is, I think we're 2 hours and 40 minutes into this, Lisa, this 1 hour meeting you scheduled me for. So I think we trust
to interrupt so many times.
I've got to go tutor.
All right. Well, you go tutor if that's what you got to do. So I just want to open the floor for questions. Matt, you got something to say real quick after that? We'll open it for questions. If you guys put the questions in the text, if we can just leave all the commenting and all the conversation that's going on now, with the exception of Wes, buddy, you can keep talking. But everybody else, if you just quit putting anything in there, and then once there's a few questions get brought up, we'll answer them. And then as we answer them, if you guys just kind of, as grown civil adults that aren't, incapable of being respectful, just throw your question in there. Once one gets answered, throw another one in there. You know what I mean? I'll stay here till all the questions get answered if you'd like. But go ahead, Matt, Tanya, go to work.
I really do. I'm going to go. Thanks, guys, for listening to me. I'm glad I was here with my friends today and look forward to hearing from you in the future, working with you.
Tanya.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye,
All right.
Tanya. I'll help you out, Tommy, with the questions if you want as well.
Yeah. So first off, Wes, you said something about horns and hugs won't change everything. Well, buddy, I think you need to have some more hugs. I think you need a little bit more love in your life. And if I was close by, I'd come give you a hug and you would see the difference that it would make. Because hugs do make a big difference, okay? Like, I'm a strong guy. I'm a tough guy. And I'm tough enough. I'm strong enough to say that hugs do make a difference, buddy. Okay? And then you said something about you're not a troll. Well, you know what? You're not like a troll that's underneath a building, but you're trolling us. Okay? Troll, just to go about, it says to go about and stroll. So if you want to, wander to go in quest of game without purpose, I mean, you go look at etymology, see the origin of troll. We love you. I want to hug you, man. Right? I might even give you a kiss on the cheek, man. I love women, but I'll still give you a kiss on the cheek, dude. All right? So I love you, man. Okay? If you're in Texas, you come shoot the cartel. Okay? Well, we can't do that. All right, buddy? We just can't start out that war.
We just have to stay peaceful now.
We have to. I mean, if they're on our land shooting at us, it's a different story. But that we're not going to start an international war. Ain't happening.
All right, so to questions. The very first question. I don't know where we. Oh, Landon Wright asked, "Have y'all served time?" Seeing a lot of tattoos. I didn't know that you meant you served time. Roberto, you want to answer that? We'll just give a quick yes or no, and if you want to put in a couple second definition, go ahead. Roberto, you go ahead. You ever served time, my man?
Never been arrested. Never had problems with the law. I was ready to get arrested over there in DC. If I was gonna park my truck in the beginning of the People's Convoy, I was ready. I was like, let it be my first time. But so far, never had problems with the law.
Good deal, Matt. What about you, my friend?
Oh yeah, I'm not.
And you guys don't have to answer, but
I'm not ashamed. I've been in trouble in my past. I've gone to jail a couple times. I fought the legal system really hard way. I pleaded my innocence for in one case, a DWI case. I'll just talk about real quick. I pleaded my innocence for an entire year. I had to take a Greyhound bus every single month to go down to court just so they could reset my trial date. I had to contact a bail bondsman every Thursday for an entire year until at the end of that, they dismissed it for insufficient evidence because they had nothing on me. All the way up to that very last day, they tried to find me guilty, and I kept claiming my innocence. I fought the legal system. It's made me who I am today. I've done a bit in the hard knocks of life, which has made me the great man that I am today, and that I'm still becoming because I ain't done growing yet.
All right. You want to go back and forth? Let's see. We have Ronald. He asks, why won't anybody look at the 2020 election if we have the evidence? Like we said, everybody has their niche, and there is a group looking into that. And we go back to the same thing. It's going to take a grand jury because if the Supreme Court ain't going to do anything about it, it's up to we the people to put up a grand jury and present the evidence on live TV, on live streaming, or whatever it takes to push that. So, thank you for your question, Ronald.
all right. So we're not accused later of me not answering questions. Lisa can answer if she wants. I have Google me, Tommy Weber, Burlington, Kentucky. That's all I'll tell you. I've been to prison several times. I've got many felonies. I told you guys I came from the depths of hell. I've been to the bottom. I've been through drug addiction. I've lived on the streets. I've been under bridges. But at this point in my life right now, I'm currently sitting in my 33-foot camper. I have a car sitting outside. I've got side by side, all hard worked, honest, earned money. I got my CDL while I was in prison. I've been driving since I got out. I was in Ohio State Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections for several years. It wasn't my first run-in with the law. It was the last run-in that I'll have with the law for sure. I have bounced back. I've got custody of my 2 kids. Life is great. So yeah, I do have a background. Like I said, if you want to learn, I'm very, very, very easy to find. Google it. Just Google my name, Tommy Weber. Just Google it. I'm from Kentucky, Burlington, Kentucky. You'll find me very, very easily. I think you can pay to get my background, or maybe you know somebody, whatever. I don't have no crazy sex cases. I ain't never fucked with no kids or nothing like that. But I did live a very dumbass life. I grew up with the wrong influencers in my life. And, I took about the hardest path you can take in life. But like I said, at this point, I'm proud of my life. I drive a truck coast to coast. I've got custody of my 2 kids. I've got a credit score to be very proud of. I've got money in the bank. My life is great. I own stuff. I bounced all the way back. The shit that I did when I was younger, it doesn't even matter anymore. The reason I say that is because, trolls will pull up my background information because it's real easy to find. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, this guy's lying to you. Nah, I'm not lying to you. I'm very open. I'll tell you anything, anything somebody wants to know about me. Although I'm not proud of all the choices I made in my life, I don't dwell on them. I don't let them define who I am today. I don't let them affect my life. If you can't get over it, if you don't like me, it's not my business. You don't have to like me. I want to love everybody and like everybody. But it doesn't always happen. Just know that, my past record doesn't, it's not who I am today and hasn't been for quite some time at this point. So I just wanted to do that before our friend started saying, he avoided the question. I didn't at all. Ask me whatever you want, I'll answer it. So I'll mute.
Guess that just leaves me. So, yes, I've done time. I told you I've been abused really bad. I've been in some really bad situations. I was young. When someone's beating you every day and you're full of drugs, you make some really bad freaking choices. And I did 3 years. I did 3 years because God put me there for 3 years so I could get to who I am today. And every day I spent fixing myself, learning about myself, replaying every moment and event in my life that led me to who I am. I got out, never had an infraction after that. I got my gun rights back. I got my civil rights back. I had all of my judgments set aside, which is basically expungement in the state of Arizona. I went to college. I have 3 associate degrees. I have a double bachelor's degree. I graduated top of my class in the top 10%. I remarried the man that originally abused me the first time. And I did it because he worked just as hard on his life as I did on mine to be a better person. Thought that we were good to go. And it's amazing what happens when you get hurt. And that person started taking Vicodin all over again. Didn't put 2 and 2 together. Turned right back into that man and a drug addict. And through the whole thing, I stayed sober. I stayed clean. Never looked back. Never will. That man put me through hell again. Started all over again in 2014. Built myself up. That's how I ended up trucking. Saw the potential in it. Started making money on it. Started my life again. And in 5 years, I went from one truck and a 27-foot RV that I was living in, trying to keep going, to 2 trucks, 2 trailers, 10 acres, and a big house in Midland, Texas. So I know that everything I've been through has prepared me for this day. I haven't hit it, but I haven't been forward about it either. But it's been something I've been debating the last few weeks to just put out there, because I'd rather be on the offense about it than the defense. I take full responsibility for my decisions and actions. Even if I was pushed, beat, abused, or whatever, you are still 100% responsible ultimately for what you decide to do. You are a free person and you have your own agency. Whether it was clouded, mitigated, whatever it was, I paid for my debts and my mistakes. I learned from them, and it made me the good person I am today. Same with Tommy and all of us, including you out there. So before anyone goes crazy on this whole, well, this person that, I have an absolutely spotless record after that, and everything I've done has built me into who I am. And I had to be in there for 3 years. I was so abused and so messed up from all the things that happened to me. It was the only place that I could be where I could heal. I couldn't live life and try to heal and become who I am today. There was no way. I know God put me there, and I'm grateful He did. That's where I needed to be. And I came out of it who I am and built from there. If I didn't, I'd still be a shell of a woman struggling every day back and forth. So I have an amazing self-awareness, and been there, done that. So we just move forward. Anyway, there's my answer for the day.
Thanks, Lisa. So there's a question on here from Michael Russell. It says, are you going to support the July 4th protest? Listen, we support every American doing what they feel is right in their heart, period. Right? We're working on and concentrating on and focusing on the biggest picture there is. So yeah, we support. I don't know necessarily what the July 4th protest is, but I support, and I think I speak for all of us here, we all support that all people everywhere in the world do what they feel they need to do and that they want to do to support regaining our freedoms as people in the United States of America, and to extend those freedoms to the rest of the people of the world. So we support people standing up for what they believe in. Yes. Are we going to be at this 4th of July protest? I'm not. I don't even know where it's going to be. Will I show up to events that I can? Yes, and all of us will. Events that we stand behind, and something that Lisa stand behind, Roberto might not stand behind. We just because we're on the same page and we're coming together, we're still very different individuals. We love each other. We've been working together for a long time. So yeah, just to kind of answer that question a little bit, I hope it did. We just support everybody doing what they feel is best for them and their family to progress in this world. Somebody else want to take another question? Maybe go down the line if you guys can find that. Michael Russell.
Yeah. We'll interchange here. Well, first of all, I appreciate you guys. I mean, it takes a grand person to publicly own, whatever has happened in the past or anything like that, as opposed to all these politicians that lie and this and that and deny. You know, thank you guys for that transparency. And shoot, if I would have had a story like that, I'd be saying it publicly. And all I could say is that, yeah, I'm not religious publicly, but thank you guys. Thank you guys for the transparency. And I don't know if we mentioned it earlier, but that's what we're all about. We speak amongst each other to be 100% as transparent as can possibly be, as can possibly exist. So that's what we're all about. So there's 3 questions that I could answer at once. Freebird, you asked, or commented, they do not act lawfully, though. They think they're above the law, though. Let's see. Wes says, you all see how peaceful is working for Canada. And then Whisper says, learn by example. Canada's still getting nowhere. Um, we still believe that doing it the peaceful way, we can win this. I mean, when you look at wars, uh, even when there's bloodshed and fires going off, it takes years. I mean, World War II took 6 years. World War One was another, I believe it was 5 years. So it takes years to come to an agreement. We still have our constitution, you know, to back us up, no matter what's going on. We still have it in place. The sacrifice was already made by our founding fathers, and like Tanya said earlier, by our generation, by our grandparents, etc. So the bloodshed it already happened. It's just up to us at this point. We still can turn this thing around, but folks, be patient. It's gonna take time. Okay, we fixed it. We fix here. Canada will be fixed, and most other countries will be fixed. So we support Canadians. We support our brothers and sisters as well. But we need to solidify here before we can help. You know, Anywhere else. We can still do it peacefully, folks. By Martin Luther King did it 100% peacefully. Mahatma Gandhi did it 100% peacefully. He helped free his nation from the British rule 100% peacefully. Yeah, it took him a couple of times going to jail. Yeah, it took a couple of his fallen soldiers. Yeah, it took a couple of times for him going on a hunger strike. But folks, we're at a point here that we all take for granted that we can still do it peacefully, folks.
Wes, just to answer your question, what's the end goals of USLA? Our end goals are simple. We want the elite out of everybody's lives, and we want to live our lives as free and as true as we can. That's it. Period. We want to be a free people like our God-given rights entitle us to, and the Constitution very clearly says we deserve. That's our end goal. That's it. And we're not going to stop until we get that done.
I got a couple questions, one from Reba and Iggy Nor regarding the 1776 Restoration Movement, 4th of July. Reba asked, are you going to DC on the 4th and support their protests? And Iggy pretty much asked the same thing. Are we in support of the protests? I mean, I think Tommy kind of answered part of that question is, I mean, if it's the same goal, we support all organizations that are working toward the same goal peacefully. We cannot support any organization that is not peaceful. I'm not saying whether they are being peaceful or not peaceful. That's not my determination, because as far as I know, they are peaceful. As far as I know, I don't know any of us specifically are going to the 4th of July protest in DC. I do know of some people that are going to that. Whether they claim affiliation with USLA or not, that's for them to decide. That's kind of where we're at with that. We are trying to unite organizations who are like-minded under peace together so that we can have the head count, because when you go into the psychological understanding of all this, we are individualists. We believe in individual rights. We believe that they are either our God-given individual rights or they are our natural individual rights, depending on what your belief system is. Those rights cannot be taken by any person, any government. They cannot be given by government. They cannot be given by people. They are already there. They do not go anywhere. They come when you are born into this world. That is what you have automatically. When you believe in individual rights, you have a very individualist mentality. That is why a lot of people say People that believe individual rights have a hard time uniting. We do unite, but we do believe in those individual rights, which gives us that individual mindset. When you look at the other side that believes the opposite, which is a collectivism, you have people in the mindset that believe a person is only as strong or important as its collective goal. So if the person does not fit the collectivism goal, they are considered negligible, gone out of that collectivism. That's what you have in countries like China. So when you have that mindset where the end justifies the means, and a collective mindset of you have hundreds of thousands of people and they all fit into that one collective, you are able to shift people left and right very easily. I don't mean left and right politically. I just mean from one side to the other very easily, because they all have that same mindset. That's why it's a difficult thing. That's why it's difficult to take all of us with that belief system of the individual rights and shift us from one side to the other quickly. That's why we're working on uniting with each other, because we all have different ideas and we believe in the importance of having different ideas. So we support the cause, as long as it's peaceful. I think I can speak for us in that way, because that is what we're working on, is uniting and collaborating with peaceful organizations that have similar causes. But we're still on we're on a different level up there with, gotta get, the people at the top, the world elitists. They do not believe in individualism at all. They are trying to take that from you. So we are going from the top down. Hope that answered your guys' questions.
Hey, I just see the comment. Somebody, I appreciate all the love you guys have given me in the chat. I see somebody put it there. No wonder you guys hate the government. Listen, it's like I've got my own views. I got my own views on that aspect of the government, but this has nothing. This really has nothing to do with that, other than the actual justice system of the United States is extremely tampered with, and is a very, very messy situation. It's some of us support things that probably, like, that's probably something Roberto probably hasn't looked into a whole lot of, because it hasn't really been in the justice system. The justice system is corrupt. It's got, there has to be a lot of work done to it, but that's not why I hate the government. I don't really necessarily even hate the government. Cops need to be out there. They need to be here. We need them. Fire department needs to be there. Senators got to be there. Congressmen and women's got to be there. We got to have a president. You got to have Secretary of State. You got to have all of that. And that's why it's in the Constitution. I would be less of an American if I were to say we don't need none of that, because I am very constitutionally driven, and the Constitution very, very clearly defines that we make this work because we have those government entities in place, and we have those representatives, although they're not representing us. That's the problem. They're not representing us. They're being bought, and they're doing what they're told to be doing. All they're doing, they're literally just signatures. That's all any of these elected officials are. They're signatures. They don't make decisions. They don't make choices. They'll come out in front of you and tell you a whole bunch of stuff, and how they're going to make stuff great, and they're going to take whatever to the higher courts or whatever the hell they do. But at the end of the day, they're just a signature, and they can't do anything anyway, man. The power is too great for a governor to try to take on. I mean, he loses his job in his life. We see people get suicided all the time that take on the elite. It happens. And when you're on that kind of platform, you're a governor or a senator or something like that, and you take on the elite. We've seen what happens. Shout out to old Hillary Clinton. She does some shit. But we don't really hate the government, man. I don't. I have my own views about them, but nah. But that was funny. I seen that.
Let me just add to that really quick. If anything, when you live that life, you understand the shortcomings of it, the corruption within it. When you're not following the law, yeah, you tend to not like authoritative people. When you are following the law, like we are now and have been for a while, you understand, you know, the exploitations of people that are stuck in bad situations. You understand where this corruption is coming from. You can see it a lot more clearly. It's like the whole time I was in Hagerstown, I would get asked, "Oh, we're looking for people to do this," and I would just mention, I'm like, I have a special set of skills, or I would do something, and they're like, "How the hell do you know that?" I'm like, I have a special set of skills. I only utilize what I do for good. I'm honest about it, but I see the corruption. I see when people are lying to us. I see when they are trying to manipulate things. And those are skill sets that you pick up quite quickly when you're trying to live a life of illegal activity. But as you get older in the world, you appreciate being able to see it. And then you start looking out for the other people that don't see it because they've lived their lives legally. They've lived the good lives, and they are just trying to be good people and be left alone.
Tommy, mute your mic.
So I'm sure this is going to get all kinds of whatever, but that's the truth. I mean, it makes me appreciate our freedoms and liberties way more and understand where we're losing them and how we're losing them. And that gives us an edge to be able to educate people.
So I just want to just tell a quick story. I don't know. I'd imagine we'll probably do that a lot on these lives. Lisa's talking about a special skill set she's got. We're in Hagerstown. I don't know. It was probably like the first week or something. And it was when all the security was trying to get figured out, and we had radios, and Lisa's running around all over the place, just helping out, fitting in wherever she can, doing whatever she can. And finally, we have somebody from security. They come up and they're like, they're feeling us out and talking to us. And Lisa's trying to tell this guy, like, no, I got. Well, I don't have no military training, but I got a special skill. I'm good at this kind of stuff. And the guy keeps prying. Lisa don't want to tell this dude what her background is. And then finally she just blurts it out. She's like, "I'm a felon, man. I went to prison." So that just made me laugh when she brought that up. But that shit was funny.
No, he was ignoring me, remember? I was like, yeah, I do logistics. Yeah, I work in the oil field. And he just looked back at you and just was ignoring me. And I just came out with it because I'm like, well, that'll get his attention, I guess. But yeah, I didn't hide it then, I guess. I'm not hiding it now. But I mean, we all take our experiences and we try to do good with them. That's all we can do. Try to be better people every day. Landon, right, I see has a question. It says, how do you reconcile banning drugs with a free society and individual rights like gun owners? There are hundreds of millions of responsible drug users nationwide. Landon, to be honest with you, none of us in this organization has taken a position with that. I mean, I think we can all speak on our individual opinion, what our belief system are, but that is not a position that this organization has taken nor discussed yet. That's kind of where I leave that with the organization.
Well, let me see if I can try to touch if I may. Really, it comes down to education. So how do we reconcile banning drugs with a free society and individual rights? Well, it is a touchy subject because we are a free society and there are substances that are more naturally driven and substances that are more manufacturally driven. With that being said, it's an educational process. It's encouraged not to do these drugs, but if you do, this could be what happens if you do these drugs. You might end up in jail. Education is so important. Instead of educating, they just quick to ban, quick to give you time out, quick to put you in jail, especially for the small offenses like cannabis use. So it is something that we would have to really look at. It is a really touchy subject. I know that there's states, I think Washington State has lifted like a ban. I know there's a couple countries as well that are completely allowing it. But, you know, fentanyl was manufactured. It's opium driven. It's not good. But if you look at the past, you go back in history, there was medicinal purposes for these drugs. And then it kind of got out of hand, and then they have derivatives of these drugs that became stronger and more potent and ended up on the street, so to say. So there has to be a lot of work done. There's a lot of things, a lot of topics of interest and issues that have to be addressed in this country, which stems back to voting people out and voting people in that we know that are, you know, more credible, that are for the people. If you don't believe that there is anybody, then run yourself. Run for a position. Run for an office seat. Run for your committee. Run for county judge, sheriff, state representative. It's actually, you can actually do it. There's small bit of requirements, but anybody can really file to be in a position of power, so to say. I just filed with the Federal Election Committee to be the president for 2024. I don't know if I'm actually going to get elected, but I want to be able to at least inspire people to be able to do it yourself. If we have 1 million people that run for a seat, that know that they're true of heart, their passion, and they know that they can change this world, we can learn through education. I'm reading a 200-page document right now on congressional candidate, on a guide, on the steps that I have to take to run a campaign, to be able to collect funds as a presidential candidate. None of this is told to anybody, like it doesn't really matter. We don't have that education in place. So hopefully as I go along, I will be able to provide that education as well. But I want to be able to just inspire that you can do it as well. You can stand up and you can run for any kind of position, school board, county judge, as I was saying. If you feel drawn to something, then go that way. That's probably a good feeling. If you feel it in your gut, you got that gut instinct, then go for it. When I clicked my party affiliation for a presidential candidate, there was socialism and communism as party affiliation in the United States of America. That is the actual party affiliation that you can take if you wanted to run as a president. I don't know, me as the president, that's not going to be allowed because we are not communists, nor are we socialists. So I decided to run as a nonpartisan party affiliation. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. And I know that many of y'all are tired of the divide, the left and right. And I've always been that buffer man in the middle to try to see it from both sides. And I believe that being nonpartisan is a really attractive quality. I believe that many of us can run as a nonpartisan candidate. We don't have to be Republican or Democrat. They say, well, it's going to make it harder. It's going to mess up the system. Well, the system needs to be messed up. It's broken. And many people will call us broken individuals because of our past, and black sheep. But it's the black sheep and the broken people who are going to fix this blackened and broken society and world that we live in, which is why so many of us have come together who have been deemed broken or been picked last or the black sheep of the family and don't have any family anymore. It's why we've standed up and we've united. That's one big reason. With that being said, I'm not going to go further into my statement of my presidential candidacy, but I will say that I do have a vice presidential candidate already, and I'm already working on my campaign. So it is legitimate. And so if you're looking for somebody who's from the dirt, who understands what it's like to eat dirt sandwiches and to be impoverished and be in the system and live the hard knocks of life, I'm your guy. Because I tell you what, President Trump sure in the hell don't know. He's a rich businessman with a pretty suit. And I'm going to come in there with a beard and sweatpants. I will relate to each one of you. I love you guys. Love you guys. United States.
All right. Hey, Brian Wyckoff asked, how do I become a leader in this group? Send any one of us a DM on Facebook or whatever platform you're on, or hit us up on a website. We'll get a phone call with you. We'll talk. You'll probably talk to more than one of us at a time. I can't even really remember the last time I had a phone call that there was only 2 people on. They're usually like 3 and 4 or more deep at this point. But yeah, just reach out to one of us and we'll check you out, man. We do a fairly strong vetting process with people that we bring in.
He can reach out to me. He's got my number.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. We just got to, we work too hard to just let anybody come in and then just destroy what we've done. But we would love to have you on board, man. We'd love to talk to you. Reach out to Roberto. He'll give you the rundown and he'll bring it back to us. And yeah, man, we'll get you in here. I appreciate you wanting to help, man. Thank you.
Wes, thank you for your services. I see you put a summary for you, Tim. I am U.S. military combat veteran. I have done all. Thank you for your services, Wes. Um, let's see. Just a quick comment. I believe that um that the administration itching itching to declare martial law, and that that will not be good. So we need to do this 100% peacefully. Um, we need to. I'm not gonna say entice. We need to encourage the law enforcement officers on our side. We need to encourage the military on our side. We need to encourage the SWAT team, the National Guard on our side. Not all of them are going to come to our side, but we need to show them that you were true patriots, true peaceful patriots. Because right now, I mean, when we when the main convoy got to Hagerstown, the People's Convoy. I'm gonna say the People's Convoy because AFC got there, the North American Convoy got there, so everybody. The first day that we went across that beltway, we had National Guard, armed guards up on the overpasses, on the shoulders, and this and that. They had their guards up because they thought that we were gonna come in, occupy DC, and cause mayhem and this and that. So the first day they had their guards up. Second day they eased up a little bit. By the third day they were giving us, some of them were giving us thumbs up. By the fourth and fifth day, sixth day, they were all giving us thumbs up and that. So I know that or whatnot about no, yeah.
We got bad reception. You guys can't hear me. What? Hello. So it's okay. So it's cutting off completely. In Alabama.
You cut out, Roberto. It looks like are you almost back?
Yeah, I know. Am I back now?
I think what he was saying when he got
Am
cut
I back?
out, he was talking about the day. Every day we were there, they started dropping their guard and understanding we weren't there for anything but peace. And then we were being, they actually were encouraging us at the same. They were excited. They were happy that we were there, standing up for our rights peacefully. And so we really didn't have a lot of backlash from them over time when they understood that we weren't there to start anything but be peaceful.
Here we go again.
Nobody's saying nothing. I'm just scrolling down through these questions.
Oh,
All right.
okay, I guess I'm back.
I guess
Am I back?
There you go, Matt. Yeah, I think you're back, Roberto. Go ahead, Matt.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Let me.
All right.
Jacko's-
So,
Sorry. Go ahead, Roberto.
all right. So without the respect to you know, the military, whatever, all the they're trying to teach, like, no, I'm breaking up. Am I breaking up, Tommy?
You were a little bit, but you're sounding right now, Roberto.
Okay. You know, there's no doubt, without due respect to those that have served, there's no doubt that in the military they are pushing, they're pushing that Marxist Leninist, without you even knowing, they're pushing that Marxist Leninist mentality of serving the government. And I know you all took an oath to serve the people, to serve the Constitution and everything, but at the same time, they're like drilling Marxism, Leninism, and so they have that mentality of protecting the government. That's what they're trying to teach you. So in a sense, it's like, without you knowing, the military and the police, they're like against the people. And I could understand that, because there's a lot of bad actors that that are attacking our police officers, our military, etc. So it's just a matter of, you know um, nudging them towards us little by little. It's going to take time, but this is how we're going to win this. Because if we're going to go in there, and firing and this and that and Second Amendment and blah blah blah, it's gonna be just a whole mess. So not to say anything. So if we can little by little get them on our side, we the people, including them, get them on our side, then when those up top feel defenseless. And again, it's not about no violence or anything like that. It's about holding them accountable. They got to go on trial. They got to be impeached, and if they have to serve because they were guilty, then they serve. But doing it completely peacefully. Nobody deserves to be hung. Nobody deserves to be, you know, um, nobody deserves that. So if we can get the military on our side little by little, as much as we can, then I believe we can get to the top.
All right. And answer Jacko in purgatory. You asked, you have to be a communist or socialist to be president? No, I was not stating that. I was just stating the fact that those are different party affiliations that you can check on, or different party affiliations that you can be associated with in the United States of America. If you were to decide to run for president, you could pick that as a party affiliation. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be a communist or a socialist to be a president in the United States. Those are just options when you're picking your party affiliation. All right. There's like, I don't know, 50 different party affiliations. If y'all didn't know, there's something else that you go ahead and check up on. And then you also said, Jacko, can I make your campaign ad? I don't know if you're being funny, if you're being serious, but if you're being serious, then let me know if you're serious and we can talk.
The Robert Escobar show asks, so should people trying to do something about politicians being just signatures, like starting a third party? there are always going to be signatures until the elite's gone. Do I personally think that we need to have a non-affiliated person running for every elected seat? Yeah. I think we need to, I mean, me personally, I think everybody that is sitting in office right now that is running for re-election should be voted against. Everybody that holds a seat right now should be voted out of office. That's how I personally feel. I know there's a lot of people, you know, there's people are strong, man. They're headstrong on their political affiliation. And, you know, it might take a Republican to vote a Democrat into office or a Democrat to vote a Republican into office. Or, you know, it might take that. But my way of thinking, just to bring in on it a little bit, we're smoked the next 2 years regardless, right? Like this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You know, hopefully we've got results before that, but you know, realistically, this is going to be a long battle. But if everybody that is running for re-election gets voted out, whether you got to vote Democrat when you're a Republican or vice versa, if you vote whoever's running out, then it proves a very large and important point. And that point is, if you guys that are elected don't start doing your jobs and don't start representing the people that elected you, we will remove you from office. You will only sit for the one term that you got elected for, and you will be removed. Does that mean we're going to have another shitty 2 years because we all voted for the people we really didn't want to be in there? Yeah, possibly. But newsflash, the next 2 years are going to be shitty with the same people in there because it's been shitty for the past few years that they've been there. It's not going to change. But we can prove a very important point, and that is they do work for us. We will remove them if they don't start representing us and acting like they work for us. So I know it's kind of a vague answer, but until we remove the elites, until we remove, you know, we all know the names, then whoever is an elected official will continue to be just a signature because they will be bought and paid for, or they won't have that seat. If they don't want to sign that paper, they'll be removed one way or the other. They'll either you know, they'll impeach them or do whatever they got to do to get them out, and they'll put somebody in that will be a signature. So until we get rid of the elite, it doesn't matter who's sitting in there. And starting a third party, I think so. I don't even know. Let me rephrase that. I don't think a party is the answer. I think starting the movement that we have and start bringing red-blooded, true blue American patriots and putting them in office is where it needs to be. So if you want to run under non-political affiliation or just as a constitutionalist, and I hate to say that because I think, you know, that's like a Trump thing. And, you know, I'm not political at all. But at the end of the day, like as a maybe like a Patriot Party or, you know, whatever it is, I think that would, I think that would be awesome to start a quote unquote party that is just solely, truly about the American people and the Constitution that defines us. So I hope that answered your question a little bit. I'll mute, and I think Lisa's eating, but maybe Roberto or Matt. Be honest, she's eating macaroni and cheese, I bet. Told you. Told you.
They called it.
That's it. She's in Texas.
I'm
I'm in Kentucky. That's how much we know each other.
Sorry. Predictable. The Robert Escobar show asked a little bit ago, what is the plan to help working class people to get their demands met? I think that's a really good question. That kind of goes back to us talking about making like starter packs or Patriot packs. We haven't figured out a name exactly. But that's where they'll have written script, specific call to action, the numbers to call. So they get a lunch break. You can call and harass your congressmen or senators peacefully, of course, regarding bills that you disagree with and what to say. Remember, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. We haven't been the loudest. We have been the silent majority because we're all busy working, tending to our families, thinking that we are protected under the Constitution and our rights are protected for us to be left alone. Most of us have that mentality. Just leave me alone. I don't care what you're doing. Just don't infringe on what I'm doing, kind of thing. And we stayed silent too long, unfortunately. We cannot be silent anymore. We have to be the squeaky wheel gets the grease. We have to be the loudest. We have to maintain our peace, but we have to start speaking up and reaching out. If you're a senator about to vote on a bill and your constituents call you so much that it kills off your phone service or it drops it kills the system, I think that you may pay a little more attention to those constituents. It doesn't mean they will always make that decision because they do work for us. But I'm telling you, if you are the squeaky wheel, you will get the grease more than not making any noise. So we're trying to develop ways for the average American to get involved and things that they can say instead of them having to figure out what to say. We can help them with a suggestion of what to say based on what we're trying to stop, like any of these gun bills or anything like that. So that's what we're developing to help the working class too, because we're all working class. I don't think you see. I'm eating a bowl of microwave macaroni and cheese. Pretty sure if I was rich, I'd have someone else making it for me.
All right. I don't even. Do you guys hear me? Okay. All right. So let me see. So Hermit. Maybe you guys can answer this as well. Do we believe that the 2020, you know what, was rigged or legit? Uh, okay. My personal opinion. What I saw the night of the elections, obviously everybody knew that it was red in all these states. One particular thing I saw myself is that they had called Virginia, and Virginia was blue. After they called Virginia, it turned red. I'm like, what the heck? Didn't they call Virginia? So it was red for about 10 or 15 minutes. And then boom, it turned blue again. I'm like, what the heck? So obviously we saw, you know, those hearings that Doug Mastriano held over there with Rudy Giuliani. We saw all this uh, geeky, techie, whatever evidence that Mike Pelo presented, Mike Lindell. Saw 2,000 Mules. Saw the last hearing that Arizona had. So obviously, it was one way or another. There was cheating involved. Had there not been cheating, had things would things would have turned around the other way, I don't know. I mean, but just by using common sense, the only president, the only incumbent president that got more votes than the last time to have lost, the he had the most votes, the incumbent president with the most votes ever, in history, and still lost, supposedly. So what can I say? My personal opinion, yes. Tommy and Lisa, what are you guys' opinion?
Well, Tommy left, so he doesn't get it.
No, I'm right here. Let me answer this real quick, short and sweet. Hey, I'm non-political. It was the first time I ever voted. for obvious reasons that I already kind of explained. That was the first election I ever voted in. I watched it. I was diehard into it. That bitch was stolen. I don't give a damn. I seen it. I watched it. You're not going to convince me otherwise. I'm not political. I'm not going to say who's there should be or shouldn't be, or the other person should be this or that. I picked what I thought was the best candidate, regardless of which one I voted for. The son of a bitch was stolen. And if you can't see that, be careful when you walk, because there's a good chance you're going to trip on something, fall on your face. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Let me just start with, I was raised in politics at a young age. My parents were very involved. When I was about 4 years old, I went and hung out at meetings and political fundraisers and election night parties and all that stuff when I was young. The night before the election, I would be sitting on the tailgate of a truck going through neighborhoods distributing flyers for the candidate and stuff, like door hangers and stuff like that. So until I was about 11, 12 years old, and I got kind of burned out of it. Anyway, so I have watched every election since I was 4 years old on election night, primary in general, till I was about 18, and then I took a small break and I went back to it when I was 25, and now I'm not going to tell you exactly how old I am because y'all can look it up, but it wasn't a few years after I was 25, so for a while. When I watched that election night, it's the first time in my life I have ever seen a stop and counting mysteriously on multiple state fronts for a very long period of time, and B, calling states immediately the moment the voting stopped. So when the polls closed, they immediately called Washington, Oregon, and California for blue. And then there was a stop count at, I don't know what time it was, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, something like that, for like 45 minutes minimum. Don't quote me on the exact times, but we all know there was a stop count. In my entire life of watching this, I have never seen anything like that happen. That in itself alone leads me to question the integrity of that specific election. So I could go into being blunt like Tommy or Roberto. Too many questions are out there. It doesn't pass the sniff test. I don't care what side of the boat you're on. The logistics of it don't add up. Everything around it just not good. Doesn't give me assurance that it was properly conducted. So I'll just leave it at that. Matt, would you like to weigh on this? Here comes Matt.
Well, I'm kind of like, befuddled here reading these comments from people. Y'all are quick to defend information that you really have no background education on. I really recommend that you reach outside your comfort zone and examine a little bit more about the situation that we're speaking on. Y'all are so quick to judge and so quick to critique, but you have actually zero solution or actually positive feedback. It's a little bit frustrating. Y'all are just thinking that y'all are just like a comedy special is basically what I'm reading here. It's nothing but entertainment. It's like I'm watching news. It's like I'm watching President Biden speak. And it leads me to conclusion that many of y'all in this comment are in favor of, I guess, the current administration. And if that is correct, and if I am correct in what I'm saying here, I'm sorry. And I'm going to say this. not everybody can be saved. So if you understand what we are talking about and what we're trying to do here, thank you. If you do not, I am sorry. Still love you. I still accept you, but I don't agree with what you're saying, with the comments that you're putting, with the pollution that you're putting into our comment feed here. But I just ask to see beyond your nose, see outside your comfort zone. It's all right to be rubbed the wrong way. It just means you got to learn a little bit more. In regards to the election, I can tell you in 2020, I didn't vote for either of them. I knew something wasn't right. And eventually the truth will come to light. The truth will set you free. The darkness will always expose itself, because that's what the darkness loves to do. And they think that when they expose themselves, they're actually trying to downtrodden the people that are trying to do something good in this world. And I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. All your comments, all your keyboard warriors out there in keyboard land, put that energy to good use. Educate yourself with legitimate websites, governmental websites, organizations. It pays to do a little bit of research. Education, knowledge is power. And if you're going to continue to believe what you see on TV or what somebody in a pretty suit says, you're badly mistaken. It's going to take people like this to tell you the truth. And if you don't want to accept it, that's right. Because sometimes the truth is a hard pill that not everybody can swallow.
Lisa, Kimberly asked if you will you be on the panel on Saturday. Kimberly Sweet asked.
I don't know yet. I haven't retained a formal invite, but I've been super busy, so it's entirely possible that somebody's reached out regarding that. I'll have to double check into it. So I don't have a good answer for you right now.
All right, so if we have any other constructive questions or any other comments that need to be addressed, any issues that need to be addressed, do so now. We are coming up on the 4-hour mark, so it is time for us to say goodbye. So we'll leave with last comments, last thoughts, last questions before we end this live video. And we will have another one in the next week or in 2 weeks, where y'all can ask us more questions, or you can, have fun in the comment section. But if you got any constructive questions, leave them down now. We'll answer them. We're gonna give you 5. We're gonna have 5 minutes before we end this live. 5 minutes.
Thank you, Freebird. You're welcome.
Somebody said they're watching because they can't believe what they're hearing. They need some kind of direction. Listen, man, we're not here to try to make you think a certain way. We're not here to try to persuade you to our side. We're literally telling you all we want to do is bring everybody together to unite the United States, to self-educate yourself. We will provide some links and some education with what we find. You don't have to believe anything I say, any links we put in there. You don't have to do any of that. All we're asking you to do is your own research. Figure it out. We can give you kind of direction on what links to click on, but you got to discover your own rabbit holes. You got to explore your own information. We're we're literally just saying, hey guys, we all are different, independent people. Set all of those aside. It doesn't matter who you voted for, who you think should have got voted, if you think something got stolen, if you think guns should be legal, not legal, drugs legal, not legal. Everybody can make a great argument on what they believe in, right? All we're trying to tell you to do is understand that the smaller fights and battles in the United States and the other countries in the world, and everybody's angry at their governments. The government is just a signature. They're not the ones making the calls. Please educate yourself. Check into that stuff. They're telling you in plain black and white English. It's not even cursive. Just print it. They're explaining to you how they're going to fuck you and your children and your grandchildren. They're showing it to you. They're literally telling you how they're going to do it. And everybody turned around and wants to go punch a governor in the face. The governor ain't got shit to do with it. It's the elite. Pay attention. Open your eyes. Stop getting draped off into somebody's comment or somebody said we're, and they didn't put a comma, so now you tell them a dumbass because they didn't, their punctuation stuck, so they must be ignorant, and then you want to take a whole conversation over there and waste everybody's time focusing on shit that doesn't matter. Come together. If y'all want to go out back, listen, I don't know where y'all from. Where I'm from, if me and my brother was fighting and somebody come up and try to stop our fight, we stop fighting, we'll whoop that dude's ass, and then we'll go back to fighting, right? Kind of the same deal. We all have a common enemy, right? Set your differences aside. Stop arguing with each other. Stop fighting with each other. And focus on the end goal. Focus on getting our rights restored. Focus on giving your grandchildren a life they can be proud of. That's what needs to be focused on. I don't know why you guys are, I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me how you guys see a squirrel and you chase it off when you was out here coon hunting. You're coon hunting. You see a squirrel and take off running after it. You ain't even bring a squirrel gun. Pay attention to what you're doing, man. Stop getting distracted by the shit that doesn't matter. That I tried to explain that earlier. I explained it to somebody last night on the phone. Like all this stuff, this person started telling me about how this live streamer did this, or this person saying don't go to the UCLA because of whatever the hell dumbass reason they gave. We don't even listen to none of that. We don't even, like, that doesn't even matter to us. We don't even care. Like, what Joe has to say about Earl is completely irrelevant to my life, period. And it's definitely irrelevant to what we're trying to do here. Stay focused on the end goal, and that is to restore our lives as a free people. That's what we're trying to do. Stop getting hung up on the foolishness. Stop getting sidetracked by shit that doesn't matter. It's called brush it off your shoulder and keep it moving. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep it rolling. Like we've been doing this since January. If you think this last little thing a couple weeks ago where all that bullshit happened in Hagerstown, you think that was the first speed bump we hit, you're out of your mind. You're nuts if you think that was the first one. We keep hitting roadblocks. We keep running into Antifa over here and these morons over here and these other idiots over here. We keep running into them kind of people. We don't even answer their calls. Like you just don't. I don't have time to waste on somebody else's fucking feelings. I mean, to be honest with you, like it's like your feelings are your feelings. Like all people that know me will tell you, I'll sit on the phone with you and I'll let you cry on my shoulder. I'll let you explain to me what's going on in your life. I'm a great person to talk to. I got they tell me I'm easy to talk to. I listen well. I give personal experiences to help you in whatever battles you're fighting. But other than that, like if you're pissed off because they put an extra stop sign in your neighborhood, I'm not going to discuss that with you for 3 hours. I promise you, I'm not. I tell you, that's some bullshit, and you know, it sucks, but keep it pushing. I don't have time to do that, and none of these other people you're looking at have the time to do that. Uh, Lisa hunts her mac and cheese mostly in the deserts after dawn. Uh, she goes out. I forget what she told me she uses to hunt. She traps it too. She traps that shit. Uh, I don't, she won't give me her secrets, but that's where she gets it from. Sorry, I just seen that question. But anyway, man, listen,
My
stop
dog
fighting with
sniffed
each
it
other.
out.
Stop arguing with each other. Huh?
My dog sniffs it out.
See, she got a mac and cheese sniffing dog, man. See, and then, but listen, so how mad would Lisa be if somebody threw a hot dog down and that dog took off running at the hot dog? That's not what they're out there hunting. They're hunting mac and cheese. Be pissed that dog took off running after a hot dog. You see what I'm saying? Stay focused, guys. Stop hating on each other, man. Wave to people when you drive down the street. Say, hey, what's up? If you want to tell them something and they don't seem interested or they're like an opposition, you don't have to waste your time with them people. It'll come around to them. This thing's too big for people to ignore a whole lot longer. I promise you. There's too many people involved. Stop hating on people. Stop trying to pick each other apart. Stop trying to tell people they don't know what the hell they're talking about, or just quit arguing with people, man. Listen, I'm a single guy because I hate arguments, and I know I do stupid shit sometimes in a relationship. I leave the toilet seat up. I don't understand why the men got to be the one to put the seat down. Why don't the women have to be the one to put the seat up, right? I'm that kind of guy. So I do shit that causes arguments in relationships. So I found it best in my life. It's easier just to be single because I don't like to argue over stupid shit. uh, I encourage you guys to kind of examine that point of view, and man, be great for your kids, be great for your grandkids, be great for the country, be great for your neighbors, your brothers, your sisters, all that, man. Come together. Forget about all the other bullshit, man. None of that matters. If you guys want to fight and argue uh, over whatever the hell it is you want to fight and argue, man, get each other's phone number. Go meet up for lunch or something. Or, I mean, you guys get so angry. I see you guys started getting kind of hateful in there. Yeah, I mean, just show up, man. Put some gloves on and box, man. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. It is what it is. If that's what you want to do and waste your energy on, please do so. But don't waste other people's energy on it that don't want to be wasted. You know what I mean? Stay focused. Keep loving each other, man, and keep moving forward. That's all I got for now.
All right, whoa, those 5 minutes got a little long. Let me see. I'm just gonna say something real quick, and then I'll answer a couple of questions, and if Tommy or Lisa or Matt want to chime in to answer one of the questions, that's fine. But one thing I want to say, folks, and this goes to you, Tommy, to Lisa, to Matt, to everybody watching right now, and to everybody who's gonna watch this video, to me, to Paula. We're pointing the fingers. Oh, it's the government's fault. It's the elitist fault. It's all of that. And this I got from actually Brian. He made me realize it's not their fault. It's our fault. We need to look at ourselves in the mirror before we start pointing the finger and say it's my fault. It is. Looking back and in hindsight, it's my fault for not being involved. It's my fault for voting Republican all the way down every time I voted. And I only vote because my people in Cuba didn't have that privilege. But still I never did research on my candidates. It's my fault that I didn't stand up or I didn't go to the mayor's office or to the town hall when I was younger and all that stuff. It's my fault. I'm gonna speak for myself. But folks, before you start saying, okay, what are you gonna do about it? What's your plan? What's your plan? Folks, come up with a plan. Let's get together and let's execute. But first, before you point the finger, you gotta look at yourself in the mirror. And like Tommy said earlier, and I was gonna say it, but he took the words right out of my mouth. And mind you, I'm not religious, but I do quote the Bible. You know, if you're free from sins, I know it more in Spanish than in English, but if you're free from sins, go ahead and cast the first stone. That's all I got to say. So let me go down the list with these questions real quick. I'll try to answer them quick. So let me see. Are you guys going into DC on the 4th with the 1776 Restoration Movement? Uh, I'm not planning on it, but You know, I feel I support what they're doing over there. I'm gonna speak for myself, but you know, the fight is in the states, folks. The fight is in the states. Let's see. Wyckoff America says, "What are you gonna do to change what's going on?" It's a collective effort, buddy. It's a collective effort. You know, it's all getting together and getting our skills. Everybody has different skills. Getting together and do it and just doing it. Just do it. You know, there's Art Williams. Look in YouTube. Art Williams. Just do it speech. You know, just listen to that speech, and that's all. That's all I gotta say. Uh, is it whoever pays the governor the most elite? I agree. Nah. Hearing that is supposed to be excited on the first. Trust me, Tommy. There's no.
Hey, let me point this one comment out by Max. I love it. It sounds just like something I'd say because I'm kind of blunt about shit. He said you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make a stupid person smart. That's a good one. I like it. That's funny.
How are you going to do that if you're going to be peaceful? I don't know if you're asking us, Wyckoff, but we again, I said it earlier. We could still use the law. We could still hold that grand jury. Just go and look at that grand jury, and we'll learn how to do it. And I think they're putting together a grand jury for the elections as well. USLA Lisa, is that your name? What? Oh, USLA Lisa, what is the name? And you will always have my support, I guess she meant. Let's see, you don't have any.
What does he mean by
Hey,
that?
let me
Wyckoff
address
says,
one more. So Freebird said, "Don't pay taxes. Don't worship Hollywood or politicians or anyone who'll take your money." Listen, there are movements out there that are all about stop paying your taxes. There are movements about don't worship this, don't support that, go here, go do that, fight that. I support all of those movements. Find a movement that best suits you, join up to it, stay educated, and just be prepared when it's time to actually have this grand jury and to actually hold these people accountable. Just be prepared for that. Follow whatever group you want to, do your own thing. Just keep educating yourself about the bigger picture while you're along the way. Again, we all have different beliefs. You know, the don't pay the taxes thing, that's my, I support that. Fuck them people and their taxes. Texas, I think, is one of probably 2, maybe 3 states, I think, in the union that they don't have a state income tax. I think taxes are, as we all, I believe, it's taxation is theft. And you know, so yeah, that I just wanted to address that. There's a bunch of movements out there, guys, and that's what I was talking about earlier. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. There's already organized and well put together groups of people that are fighting those battles. Join them. You're not secluded to one group. You go to all of them. You can be involved in all of them. If you have the time and resources to show up to every group's rallies and every group's calling, if you can do that, hell yeah, do that. We need that. But you can't always do that. Lisa, you're muted. Keep talking to me if you want to. I can't hear you. So yeah.